If you're looking for intellectual, informed basketball takes and you want to bring in media that knows what they're talking about, look no further than
never early, never late, but we always push the pace, yeah. And we really study tape, y'all just view the highlights, man, we really watching games, yeah. You just watch from the stands, we run 3-man weeks, Paul, Dre, and Allen, yeah. Way more than a fan, we got love for the game, we don't have to pretend. Got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. I'm the run the fast breaks, throw me the outlet. Yeah, we got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. Time to run the fast breaks, throw me the outlet. We on the break, it's fast breaks. We on the break, it's fast breaks. Let's go.
Let's go! What up, party people? Back again. Thank you for joining us on another fine Saturday afternoon on this audio adventure. I go by the name Rhoda, host with the mostest, and you know. Flatbush. Joining me are my brothers. You already know this man right here, the man in the middle, Mr. Consistent, the author, America's favorite Haitian uncle, King Dre Sock Passe. Joining him as well, the sturdy one, the stubborn one, PRR Sports, Mr. 1995, Coach Paul. Go on, big up yourself.
I'm back. I did not find Patrick Ewing, so I'm back.
Go on, big up yourself.
No. I think he was up here. Should have stayed up here.
Go on, big up yourself. You got a bar for us this week?
I'm tired, man. I'm tired and I'm hungry.
Tired and hungry
right now, but I'm here.
Last and certainly not least, the professional, the architect. We call him Morpheus. Hey, repping
INT. I'm telling you, Pharaoh, you might have to change his favorite Haitian uncle thing. I'm telling you right.
January 1st.
The chat will tell us who the favorite Haitian uncle is.
That is
January 1st.
Let's get it.
We call him Morpheus. Allen, the man with the plan.
Good.
Big Jersey.
Was good.
Brothers, how we doing today? Facts.
Play ball.
Triangle offense. Y'all don't know about that. Y'all know about the clue tapes. Come on now. We're real New Yorkers here, bro. You don't even wait till we start our hip hop podcast.
We start a hip hop podcast?
That'd be fire. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be fire.
Tell me not.
To start a pop culture.
Fastbreaks conglomerate.
The Fastbreaks
media.
Yeah.
So
we're everywhere.
The LLC soon come. Or sorry, LP, limited partnership, to be precise. Fellas, how are we? Post holidays, how's everyone feeling? Full, Happy New Year, first and foremost, to all the Fastbreaks family as well. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to y'all.
All right. You know how we do. First topic, game of the week. As a reminder, game of the week is not the game we think was the best game this week, but we all choose a game each week to break down and analyze to give you basketball nerds the breakdown that you are looking for. Unfortunately, due to holiday malaise, let's call it, we did forget to pick a game of the week, but I'm honestly putting that on y'all because y'all supposed to be telling us what game we doing in the chat, as well as voting for Potter of the Week. So don't forget to vote for Potter of the Week in the comments, and don't forget to vote for Game of the Week for next week. Although next week we know what we're watching.
Yes, we do.
Knicks Pistons.
We said what we were watching.
Oh, yeah,
Knicks Pistons, baby. We breaking that down. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch this game. Monday, Jan 5 at 7 p.m. Lock in. Hey, maybe we go IG Live. Who knows?
Maybe. That's not a bad idea.
We go IG Live. Actually, no, we won't. I forgot. I'm playing basketball in real life at 8. Never mind.
All right, well, there's that plan.
At night? At the time of the game?
Yeah, but I'm gonna watch it back. I got league pass.
All right.
I'm probably gonna watch that first half to get some Jalen Brunson vibes in my body. We starting the season. I'm trying to go. Minimum 6.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Yo,
no.
You're trying to get what and where? Hold on. Come on, man. 2026. What did you say? Never mind.
No, see, that counts because it was accidental.
Now, last night was that what you
last
said
night was crazy.
Intentionally shame someone's lifestyle. If they mean that,
so you
then
meant
that's
it?
what they on. What I meant exactly what I said. Yes, I meant exactly what I said. That's what he needed to do.
Oh gosh.
Crazy.
Yo, that's crazy. Oh dear.
So did the three of you watch a game this week? Please lie. Don't tell our audience you didn't watch basketball this week.
I watched a lot of games, man. I was watching.
Yeah, I watched
All right.
this week.
Then we'll go round robin like last time for our game of the week segment. Paul, you said you had a game, so you lock in first. What was your game of the week, and break it down for us?
No, I said I watched a lot of games. I got to choose.
All right, which game was the game of the week for you,
Which one is the game of the week?
and why?
I'm gonna go with Philly and the Grizzlies. So they played, and it was interesting watching the dynamic of Philadelphia now. I see why you say it's Tyrese Maxey's team now.
We've been trying to tell you, bro.
But the thing is it's funny. Should I go with that? You know what? I'm gonna leave that because
You already started. No, you already started.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that. And somebody else is probably gonna bring up the next game that I'm thinking about. But that game was very entertaining. Went to OT. DJ Edgecole is a problem. DJ Edgecole, and I've been saw that from the summer league, but he's a problem. Joel Embiid, what he's doing now. The reason I said it's not his team is because I didn't see him be able to be on the court and take such a back seat. I didn't see that happening. If he continues to do this, it's interesting because it could extend his career, but at the same time, I don't know how much of a shot of getting out the East that Philadelphia has. And say what you want, I still think that's their mentality and that's their goal. But they're on the right track with Joel Embiid, at least for his extending his career, for getting out the East. Ja is still nice, but it still seems like the league is catching up to him.
Is the league catching up to him, or does he now need? Did he take so many big steps early in his career that those steps have caught up to him, and it's time for him to take a step again?
I think he hasn't progressed and gotten better from his rookie year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He took. Yeah. I feel like he won most improved because he took a huge leap going into that sophomore year, right. And so he was ahead of schedule. Remember how we used to have that schedule conversation?
Yeah.
He was way ahead of schedule. Is he now? Has the schedule now caught up to him to where he's no longer better than he should be, and now needs to take another step?
Yes, but it's hard when you always coming back from behind in your career when you got all these issues with suspensions. It's hard.
Whoa,
It's facts. It's facts.
It's
And
hard.
also,
Like,
it's
he's coming back from behind.
ain't nothing, there is nothing more powerful than what you said on the street. So the good try, but no, you gotta hear what this man said now. But no, honestly, the team needs a new look. It's a lot of these teams play the same, including the Grizzlies and Philadelphia. But it's just that, like, and I'll say this: end of game situations. This is where I saw he still needs to progress and get better. Ja Morant.
So how did Philly pull it out? What was the what happened on court schematically? Like how did they get the win?
What happened on the court is they hit their open. Okay, I'll say this, right? It went to OT, right? I forgot how Philadelphia tied it up, but it was like they both had big runs, right? It was very evenly matched game. I forgot how Philly tied it up, but I remember in OT, Ja Morant had the ball and he held it for a long time. Then he tried to make a move. He got doubled. Everybody saw the double coming. He spazzed out. He wasn't the settling factor that a best player and point guard on a team should be to close the game.
Well, can you give me some examples?
As what? Well, this is what he did. So he dribbled to the baseline, right? The double came. It was the game clock was running down. Everybody knew that double was going to come. He didn't know that a double was going to come. He spazzed out. I forgot if he just threw a bad shot or passed to somebody who didn't get a good look, and that's what happened. They went to OT. Then when they went to OT, it was back and forth for a little bit. But when it came to the plays that needed to be made, the Philadelphia made those plays, and the VJ Edgecombe hit. I think Tyrese Maxey got doubled, and VJ Edgecombe hit a three to put them up late in the. It was basically the game winner shot, basically, the go ahead shot, and yeah, that's what happened. Aldama, I think that's his name, Santi Aldama on the Grizzlies. He had an open look too to tie it up. I think to win the game. I forgot how the score was, and he missed it. Right, but it was a good look. But to me, what Ja Morant should be in this league, he should have did something to close that game out. And like he should have gave his team a chance to actually win the game at the end of regulation, and he didn't do that. When I saw that, I said, "Thank God for Jalen Brunson," because Jalen Brunson was never going to do what Ja Morant did, and. You know, these are the things that Ja Morant needs to focus on instead of people hating on him and like all the negative branding. And I think he's too focused on all of that, and that's really what's holding him back from progressing his game because his game is still like a young, 3-year player. You understand what I'm saying? So he needs to get his mid-range game up. Like he hits some, but he's not consistent with it. He needs to continue progressing with that. He should be right now at this point in his career. He should be working on a consistent 3-point shot. But he still has so much other things to work on.
If Chris Paul retired, would you send him to go work with him the way Bigs go to work with Hakeem?
Yes.
Does Ja have the personality,
the patience,
and the patience to take that tough training and criticism from Chris Paul? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. So
Sometimes I feel like young players max out like planning their own evolution. Like there's some players that do research and are students of the game and can absolutely blueprint their way for themselves to the best version of themselves. I think other players need to be shown. Do you think Ja is one of the former or the latter, where like, you know, him blueprinting for himself got him to where he was at, which was accelerated, as we acknowledged earlier? But do you think that someone else needs to step into his development now and chart out where he needs to go and what he needs to develop in his game?
I think that jump that he took from his rookie to his sophomore year was kind of inevitable because you hear players talk about it all the time. When you play enough games, the game slows down. You figure,
but the sophomore slump is a thing, also, though.
True. That is true. That is true. But at a certain point, though, like. The game just when you play enough games, you get used to the NBA game. You understand what I'm saying? And he's so talented that was kind of an inevitable jump. I don't think he planned anything. You know what I mean? Like I think
I think so. Go ahead, Alan.
It's also that offense is not really so much focused on solely him anymore.
Right.
It kind of shows to me that, like what you said, Paul, he has really improved in his game. I feel like it's becoming a lot more prominent because you can see like the offense is not just strictly like pick and roll for him, which is why he had kind of like those like issues in the very first part of the season. Like that first month, he kept coming out with like, I don't know, like locker room stuff, like bad quotes and things like that, talking against the coaches. I think all that made it really obvious.
Yeah.
So, and you know that resulted in the subsequent trade talks, and it's died down since then. But like, I think all that just ties together with like his lack of improvement in the game. What Paul said about him, like not focusing so much on his game, more so about the outside things. It all shows to me and all that.
Well, Alan, do you think they did that because they realized they maxed out the potential of an offense centered around where his game was at? They had 3 straight playoff runs with him being probably at the peak of his powers to date. I know, but I'm just saying when he wasn't out, right? Like if we go back 2 years ago to when he wasn't out, they had 3 straight playoff runs with him being at the peak of his powers to date, right? To date, not saying he can't get better, but to date he was at the peak of his powers those 3 years, right? His second, third, and fourth year. Their runs didn't go anywhere. So do you think they realized he's not good enough for our offense to be centered around him, but they've switched it, but not given him a clear blueprint of where he needs to go because he's been out. So they make this philosophical change at the same time that he's not around the team. So he comes back the same player with no guidance on the kind of player he needs to be, but the team is now trying to play this different way, and there's a mismatch there. Do you think there's a failure in development? Do they need to sit him down and describe to him the kind of player he needs to become in order for this new offense to work?
I think him being out is what caused the change because it's like, all right, he's out, but do we want to be trash?
So you don't think that they realize that they've reached their ceiling?
Nah,
with the type of offense they were playing with him.
Nah, because you gotta understand. Like, remember Gigi Jackson, how he played his rookie year, right? Santi Aldama, how he played, like all these other guys, and then JJJ, right? Jared
They
Jackson.
still couldn't get out the first round though.
No, but I'm saying with Ja being out, these other guys stepped up, and it's like
but they were healthy. They had a healthy version of their team twice, at least, and they went out in the first round. You don't think that played into it at all?
I think him being out created a situation where their offense had to change because he was out so much, right?
So you think if he didn't get hurt, they would have ran the same style back again?
Yes. And
Alan,
now when he comes back,
Alan, what about you? Alan, what about you? Do you think they would have just kept banging their heads against the wall in the same way?
Probably not.
Better.
Yeah, they would have. No, they would have did something differently because one, I think the whole thing came from like the coaching. It was they got this European coach whose whole thing is like,
which signaled what, right? That they wanted something to change. Yeah.
So to your point, it seems that they wanted things to change, but that doesn't tell me like they wanted to get rid of him. You know what I mean?
No, I just think that it was unfortunate that he left at that exact moment because they didn't get to design the new vision together. So he was kind of left to his own device. If he was just hurt, maybe it wouldn't have gone that way. Because he was hurt and in trouble, I feel like communication was probably low. And so the new coach came in and designed a whole new vision, and that vision wasn't created in collaboration with him. So he wasn't brought into the idea of it, and they also didn't designate to him what his role in it was going to be and what kind of player he needed to become in order for it to work. So he came back the same guy with the same game, trying to do the same things, and the coach is like, we've been off that.
It's not going to work. Listen, there's a reality that comes behind it, right? And the reality is...
Can't hear.
The reality is when there's a team scheme that works, I think there's a point guard out there that the current Grizzlies system with all of their players minus Ja Morant actually works and looks very successful. And I think this is going to harken to a later point where we talk about point guards. But I think the reality is, and it's something we discussed weeks ago, Ja Morant might not be done in this league, but his tenure with the Grizzlies is coming to an end. And
if they don't bring him in.
Even if they bring him in, I don't think he can play that play style that they're looking for. I really don't. He has no intention.
Currently, or you think he can't even become the kind of player? Because again, we started this talking about does Ja need to take another jump? Do you think the kind of player that they need is not something he could become in the next year?
Not without a lot of inflection and introspection. And he needs to sit down and really. He needs to change a lot of stuff about himself in terms of what his focus is. If his focus is basketball and winning, I think he can do it. But right now, he's going the Ben Simmons route and focusing on things that have nothing to do with the game.
Let's keep basketball though. What? Let's stop speaking in broad terms. What do we all think this player is? Like, what is the kind of player that we think Ja would need to become in order for this system to work?
Paul Robinson.
Paul, you watched the game. Like, what's the, and you can use a player comparison if need be, but like, what is the kind of player you think he would have to become, and do you think he can?
He needs to develop a more consistent pull-up mid-range shot. He needs to have a conversation with the coach for end-of-game situations. Because the way they look discombobulated and they were only able to even get to OT because of talent and Ja just being nice, right? And then I think right now at this point in his career, he should be working on a consistent 3-point shot.
Correct.
But because he's still trying to prove that he's nice the way he is right now,
right?
He's not working on getting better. He's too focused on trying to prove I'm nice. Like I'm still him. He's trying to say I'm still him instead of being a better player than he was before he was getting suspended all the time for those off the court issues or whatnot.
Now, do you think he can become the player you're describing?
Can he? Yeah, I think he absolutely can.
Alan, what about you? Do you agree with the description Paul gave of the kind of player that Ja needs to become in order for Memphis to work specifically?
Yeah, I think that was great. That, and I would add because you already said a consistent 3-point shot. I was just going to say catch and shoot, so basically the same thing.
No, that's different though, because off the dribble point of offense, 3-point shooting, and being able to be a reliable catch and shooter are two different skill sets.
Yeah, I think that's what he needs to do. Yeah. But I think he needs that for this, whatever Memphis style is trying to do. I think he needs that. For the last time I saw Memphis play, they played a little bit of like how Miami does it these days.
Yes.
It's a lot of drive and kick. And for the team to succeed, he needs to do that.
Does Ja have gravity?
Not currently.
Oh, that's a good question.
That's what your point just made me think of. If you're running a Miami style motion ISO offense, does Ja have gravity? If someone else drives, are they gonna get paint?
Right now, no.
Are they gonna get paint penetration if Ja is strong side?
No.
Yeah. In my mind's eye right now, I'm trying to imagine like Jerry Jackson Jr. driving like how Bam does, and like I don't see nobody playing off of Ja Morant like that.
You mean you don't see anyone staying home?
Correct.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah, I don't see anyone staying home.
Playing help. Nah. Because the thing is like it looks like he's still trying to figure out what he's supposed to do in the court. You know what I mean? And he's still gonna get his points
because he can't space it, right?
Yeah.
So
right. So, but it's like he's just so talented that he's gonna get his points too, right?
Yeah.
So what do you
mostly on ball, right?
On ball, right?
Should they turn him into a cutter or do the dreaded put him in the dunker?
See, doing that. Listen. You're moderating. I see you, but listen. The thing is with somebody like a Ja, he's still trying to prove a point right now. You don't take the ball out of his hands. He's already mad. He's already mad at the organization. Right. You know what I mean? So
right.
Dre,
what do you? Oh, sorry.
He's between a rock and a hard place, man.
Dre, what do you think?
Right now, he should be better in his career, like further along in his career. Like people don't talk about Ja anymore. Think about that.
Well, I think to your point, he had 2 years stripped of him. Like he really didn't have those 2 years. So he really
stripped
is.
of him, or did he throw them?
However you want to describe it, like they don't
matters.
exist. They don't. It does, but I'm just saying they don't exist, right?
Right.
He kind of still is at the 4th year of his progression, technically
Right.
speaking, right? Dre, what do you think? Do you agree with Dre with Paul and Allen on what the type of player Ja needs to become is?
In terms of if he needs to develop a jump shot and get some gravity?
Just get some gravity, become both an off the dribble and catch and shoot jumper, get a mid-range game. Do you think there's anything missing or something he doesn't need in that? Or you think that's basically the kind of player he needs to become?
No, I think that's definitely the kind of player he needs to become. I think he needs to the fact of the matter is the league changed while he was away, right?
A little bit. Bit.
There's a style of point guard that has really taken center stage that he can develop on, but he's not there yet because he doesn't have he doesn't even necessarily need to be a sniper, right? But he needs to be a shooting threat. The fact is he doesn't draw doubles. He doesn't bring gravity. Running a Miami offense in the Grizzlies for the Grizzlies doesn't really do a whole lot, only because no one is going to be like, oh man, we got to get Ja. Oh man, what's he going to do? Ja gets the ball, you already know what's going to happen next. He's too predictable, right? And that's easy.
That's the word I was looking for.
That's so easy to scheme against.
Yes, there you go.
So, like I said, it's not. I don't think he lacks ability, right? I think if he decided to put some discipline into learning how to set his feet, and even if it was just starting to hit a dribble pull, because remember, early Russell Westbrook, he couldn't hit a 3-point shot, but he made teams respect him by hitting mid ranges.
Yeah.
The key for point guards in the modern NBA is teams not to be able to run drop on you.
Correct.
Right now, you can run drop on the Grizzlies all day.
Yep.
All day.
Yep. And it's not going to change anything.
So, do you think he can become this player, Dre? Final point.
Like I said, it's going to take some introspection. I think he can do it. Will he do it is the question.
And Paul, do you think that predictability might be the issue with end of game situations? As much as it's discombobulation, is it also a little bit of it's easy to defend what they're going to do because we know exactly what they're going to do, especially if they put the ball in Ja's hands. We know he's going to go to the right wing. We know he's going to do his drop cross and try to get middle. We know it. I mean, how many Ja highlights from the first 3 years of his career look exactly the same? We know exactly what he's going to do at this point. He's been scouted.
Yeah, but I still think the bigger issue is he don't know what. I think it's worse this year. Like the way he looks,
because they have it. The word is out. The scouting page is iron tight. We know what Ja's doing.
Yes and no, because it's on the way he doesn't know how to adjust. You know what I mean? And the part of that is because he hasn't developed enough as a leader on the court. Part of that is him not knowing what everybody else is going to do, what the coach wants him to do, all of that. It's a lot of different issues that make them worse now, I think, than usual. Because what you're saying, that could have applied a few years ago. Where it's like they know what he's going to do.
He is at a few years ago, though. I think that's like part of this. Like you said, he basically missed all the last 2 years. So mentally and game-wise, and that's why I think with the adjustments, I think even though it's been 2 years, I think this season is actually the first moment, if at all, he's recognizing that he's been scouted, that he's fully mapped out.
It's deeper than that though, because the team is different. No Dylan Brooks, my guy Dylan Brooks. No Dylan Brooks, no Bane, right?
No Bane.
Now you have Aldemo, who's a different type of player, right? You have Gigi Jackson, you have all these other young players that they just drafted the last 2-3 years, right? It's a different type of team. So
wouldn't that highlight how much the opposing team has you mapped when the primacy of your productivity becomes heightened? So because we don't have these other players and it's more on you, wouldn't that make this the first moment that it becomes crystal clear to him? Oh, that these teams have me figured out.
100%. But again, like it's not just that, and we can't leave it there. You got to talk about the fact that the team around him has changed as well.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Well, I think we're all hoping the best for Ja. One hypothetical to wrap this segment up. Do we think if Ja didn't get in trouble, he would have been on that Olympic team, and that might have had influence on his progression?
Yes.
100%.
1,000,000%.
100%.
I'm not so sure.
This is why when God gives you opportunities, it's your job to take advantage of them.
Wow,
I really mean
this got deep.
I really mean that. Like he had the world. He had the whole world, and he decided to go do some tomfoolery. And next thing you know, he got knocked into a whole other life.
He's supposed to be where Ant is right now.
Correct.
That was the comparison I'm thinking of, because I'm thinking of why wasn't there again injuries and everything, but Ja coming back healthy into the season, there was no narrative on like what he got better at. Whereas when Ant came back from the Olympics, Ant was talking about actively all the things he had worked on when he was around those Hall of Famers, and he actively in interviews was talking about what he was changing in his approach to playing the game and what he was looking to do and different adjustments. He was discussing it. We didn't even have to look at it. He told us. Ja doesn't have that. Ja, there's no narrative about what Ja was working on in the summer, or he didn't come out and set any goals about what he was looking to do. And I'm just wondering, like, if he had been able to mirror Ant's experience, if we think that would have been different.
But let me say this real quick too before Andre goes again. Ant got his own off the court issues too, but he keeps it basketball.
Right.
So he's focused on the game. That's where Ja is messed up. He got to get back to the game. Winning cures all.
But isn't it, to make it full circle, Ant being around those players, again, like I said, someone else to help blueprint. He wasn't isolated in whatever town he was spending the summer in, trying to figure out it by himself or not doing it at all, just working out, getting shots up. Ant was around a bunch of players who had blueprints.
But they put him on the team
either he was smart enough to seek those blueprints, or those guys around him put their hands on his shoulder and said, "Hey, brother, like, here's some blueprints." Ja hasn't had that, and that's why I asked that question at the whole beginning. Like, should he mature enough to reach out, or should we hope that there's a player that puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "Hey, brother, you need some blueprint"? Alan, go ahead.
To your point, like, just to further that point just a little bit, like, not to sound like an old head, but and on his team might have some that might be the difference. Just OGs on the team. He got Mike Conley when he first had there. He had Cat, who became like his best friend on the team, was their 10-year veteran, who was the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Who had Kevin Garnett as an OG.
Yes.
So I'm not saying Cat is like the super OG, but he has.
But it's lineage.
It's lineage. Ja Morant don't have that on that team. I can't, like, who's the veteran?
They put Derrick Rose on that team, and I thought that was a really smart move.
Yes, it did.
But we know Derrick Rose is not a reach out guy. You had to ask him. Do we think Ja ever tried to tap in with D Rose?
No.
He may not have. And D Rose wasn't there for that long either. So maybe he just
a year is enough time though.
A year is all took for Shea.
Maybe not for Ja.
A year. Wait, no. Great point, Dre. A year is all took for Shea. 1 year with CP.
Oh yeah.
1 year with CP.
Change the. But that's the difference. That's how I just said. Ja got knocked into another life. Shea transitioned himself into another life. Anthony Edwards transitioned himself into another life.
On court, at least.
I'm sorry.
On court, at least.
Right. But yes,
your point.
My point is, when you are given that opportunity, and it's part of recognition, it's introspection, it's realizing I'm not where I need to go, but I've been around the guys that know where they're going or have gone there, and I want to get there. Okay.
And I think my point is, I don't think he's been around the guys, and I think
correct.
I don't know
if that's necessarily true, only because he's been around Derrick Rose. Yes, there's not a lot of guys that have gone around the league or anything, or that have, a lot of those winners have gone to have been on the Grizzlies during his tenure. But there's such thing as Grizzlies alumni. Reach out to somebody, call somebody, do something. You know what I'm saying?
I don't. Zach Randolph over there.
Zach Randolph don't got blueprints for Ja's game, though. That's
point. A fact.
Yeah.
Like when Ant was around the Olympics guy, he was around the perfect people with blueprints for his game. He tapped in with, and we know this from the Netflix docs, both of them, starting five and the Olympic doc. There was plenty of footage of Ant tapping in with KD about follow through,
KD,
and tapping in with Steph about foot placement and foot setup. Like he was fine tuning these micro details, right? He was tapping in with LeBron about reads, right? If Ja's not in that environment, sure, he could ask the Grizzlies brass to give him Zach Randolph's number. What is Zach Randolph, respectfully, gonna do for Ant's game?
No, that's fair. You can call Mike Conley because Mike Conley was over there too.
Mike Conley's still playing and actively mentoring another player on his own team.
That's a fact. So I mean, part of it's also it's part of the organization as well. Like, what are they doing to set him up?
And there we go. I wanted to end it with like balancing. Like he messed up and missed out on opportunities to put himself in environments to get blueprints, but also, what are the Grizzlies doing? Like, how are they trying to remedy this? Like, who are y'all calling? Who are y'all sitting him with? Like,
right, man, I put it all on Ja.
It's a lot on Ja. I'll put it 75% on Ja, but 25% is the organization. It's like, what are you going to do after this, you know? But to the organizational part, they did go get him Derrick Rose.
That's yeah. And it doesn't look like they tapped in.
Listen, Ja would have been on the Olympic team if the people who work for Team USA, who represented Team USA, saw Ja and said, you know what, this young player needs to be on the team. He would have been there instead of Tyrese Halliburton.
No.
Tyrese
is not the one I'm taking off the team. Are you kidding me?
Which other guard?
Derek freaking White.
Yeah, Derek White.
Oh, that's
Derek freaking White.
That's true.
Nah, he still would have been on. You know why?
Fuck out of here. Absolutely.
They wanted another Celtics representative, I think.
Absolutely.
Because Jaylen Brown.
They had Drew Holiday.
Derek White would.
And they had Jaylen Brown. They had
Jaylen Brown didn't decline. They dismissed him.
Jaylen Brown declined.
No, he did not.
Didn't he?
He did not.
He didn't get invited.
They didn't pick him.
He was pouting all offseason about it.
All season, they're not getting picked.
I forgot. Yeah, you're right.
They picked Derek White.
Right, over Jaylen Brown. Which is why I'm saying they wanted another Celtics representative.
No, I just think they wanted a certain type of guard.
Yeah, I agree with her. I think they wanted that type of
Ja's not that. Ja will never be that type of guard.
I think if Ja is right, he gets either Drew Holiday or Derek White's spot.
Nah, he's taking Tyrese Halliburton's spot. If they want the Derek White, Ja's not replacing what Derek White brings.
He's not taking
Tyrese even
Halliburton's
play.
spot.
Derek White and Ja are two different players. Ja Morant and Tyrese are more similar in you said what?
I said Tyrese Halliburton didn't play. Tyrese Halliburton was
but we gotta act like we can't.
Tyrese Halliburton was on that team to learn.
Hold on, thank you. My point exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
We're not gonna act like they don't use USAB as a mentorship program for the anointed. We're not gonna do that. It's not all team building. Those spots are also, we are giving coveted honors to young players in the NBA who we believe deserve and earn to be in this environment to help their game. Tyrese Halliburton earned that spot because he deserved to be in that environment and what it would do for him.
If Ja was doing what he was supposed to do, he would have been there instead of Tyrese because he would have had the same. I
don't think Ja would have deserved it more than Tyrese over some other players.
Yes, I do. Because think about how good the Grizzlies were. Think about how good the Grizzlies were. If he wasn't suspended for the
brother, you keep saying that, but again, I keep pointing out they never got past the first round. Tyrese Halliburton went to 2 back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals.
And
you keep saying the Grizzlies they were a first-round exit team. They weren't that good.
Ja, you think they were going to continue to be a first-round exit team?
But we're talking about at the time when these selections went out. At the time when these selections went out, Tyrese Halliburton's coming off of Eastern Conference Finals.
And I'm saying at the time, this is after Ja served his suspensions, which held him back in his career.
No, but I'm saying that those years, right? Like when the selection, because the selections are made a few years in advance, right? At the time yeah, they are, because you have to train camp for it.
Not a few years though.
Yeah, not for the Super Hall of Famers who get to decide last minute, but for a lot of the team, because you're forgetting they don't just pick the 12-man roster. They invite a whole slew of players to camp, and then they pick from camp. Tyrese Halliburton got the invitation from camp well before that summer.
Well before,
I would say by well I mean like a year.
A year before he was in the finals?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That Ja would have definitely been there.
Brother, you had the years mixed up. He went to the finals after the Olympics.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, no, yeah. He did.
Yes, he did.
He did.
The Olympics
Brother, he
were
tore,
what,
brother, he
2024,
tore
right?
his Achilles in the finals. How would he go to the Olympics?
Oh yeah. Oh nah, you're right.
So that's what I'm saying. Go back to then. That was his first Eastern Conference Finals the year before the Olympics, right? Before then, that was, again, Ja got in trouble at the end of that season. So up until that season...
No, he was getting in trouble before that, though.
I know, but I'm saying, like, with him getting in trouble was that season. That was the season he got in trouble, right?
He got in trouble before that, too.
No, he didn't. I'm saying both times the gun things were that season, the season before the Olympic summer. Like, that year was the year that stuff happened, right? So if we're ranking how good the Grizzlies have been up until selection time, the Pacers were well better than the Grizzlies.
Wait, hold on. He was out for injury before that, though, because he was definitely out.
No, brother.
He was out for
brother,
more.
you're confounding it. He has been hurt the last year, which was the year after the Olympic year, and he was hurt when he tried to come back from his suspensions the prior year. But he got suspended that year. He got suspended, and then he got hurt when he came back, and his season ended. And then he came back last year and got hurt for most of the year again.
So you're telling me Tyrese Halliburton's first year on the Pacers, they said, "Oh, come through."
It wasn't his first year. What are you talking about?
How many years Tyrese been on the Pacers?
3 years, probably, at this point.
But he got drafted and played a whole year with the Kings. We discussed this already. Tyrese Halliburton has been in the league a little longer than people think.
He's been same year as Ant, so 2020. So 2020, right. A year and a half with Kings, and since then he's been on the Pacers.
Yes.
If Ja didn't get in trouble and have all those issues, I'm standing on the fact that I think he would have had it over Tyrese.
The Pacers have
because he was hyped up more than Tyrese. Tyrese came out of nowhere. So if he was maintained the hype,
whoa, I think you're forgetting how big Tyrese was that year.
No, I'm just saying coming into the league.
No, sure, but around selection time, and we can get off this, but around selection time, do you remember that season, the season before the Olympics? Tyrese Halliburton was the most highlighted point guard in the league.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, but Ja was that for like 2 years before that. That's what I'm saying.
We're talking about at selection time. At selection time, Ja, with the hype that he had years prior, had went out in the first round twice, and Tyrese Halliburton's stock had risen.
He's true. That's true. That is true.
Yeah, but I don't know if Ja Morant would have ever made it before him. Only because like the roles like of the team. Because I think Farrell's right. They do always get like a young player to come like learn.
They get a couple. It's supposed to be a couple. When Ja messed up, they said we're just gonna put veterans on the team then.
Yeah.
I think it would have been Ja and Tyrese as the young guys to soak up, and maybe Drew Holiday or Derek White also make it. But you never see two of the veteran guards make the Olympic team. Usually they'll have at least two young guys on the team. And when Ja messed it up, they were like, we'll just do Tyrese and put another veteran and call it a day.
It probably would have been Drew Holiday because I feel like.
Yes, I agree.
I agree. I know Derek White was an injury replacement. That was Kawhi's spot.
Fact.
Yeah, so I think it would have been Drew Holiday if Drew Holiday wasn't an injury replacement himself.
No, he wasn't.
I love Drew Holiday for the defense alone.
Drew Holiday, I think, was a team building move because he played a lot.
You're right.
He played a lot. I think Derek White was a veteran ad because we didn't have another young player to put there.
Yeah.
Period.
Weird.
Should have been Jalen Brunson, but all right.
Well, he played on FIBA. He played on FIBA the summer prior, and like we lost.
I know.
so like, you feel me? Like they were only gonna take but so many people from that team.
It's okay.
They took and they're like the rest of y'all. Maybe the next FIBA.
Yeah. I think Tyrese was on that team too. Actually.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
I think so.
He might have been. Yeah, he might have been. It wasn't gonna be
all.
Can't
have more than two.
Brandon Ingram, I'll tell you that. Even though Austin Reeves killed that FIBA.
He did,
absolutely killed. All right, good segment, fellas. It's time for rapid fire.
Okay. All right, go ahead. My fault.
It's time for rapid fire takes. You know what it is. I put the timer up, and we go 60 seconds to see if the fellas can get their takes off. Paul, you dominated segment 1, so I'm gonna go to Alan for segment 2. All right. Our first topic for rapid fire takes this week: Jokic's injury. Let's get a 60-second reaction to Jokic injury, and go.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets better be, thanking the lucky stars that it wasn't a worse injury than where it is. He's out for 4 weeks, which is tough. Losing like your whole system in Joker, but only 4 weeks is kind of like a blessing when you think about like the different injuries that could have happened and stuff that happened to other stars, because it was like a non-contact knee injury, right?
His foot was stepped on.
Yeah, okay, but anyway, it's gonna be tough though, because they're down like 4 out of 5 starters. I watched the game last night with Jamal Murray against the Cleveland, and like he's their only starter in the game, and so they have not the easiest schedule coming up. It's not the hardest, but it's for sure not the easiest. They just got to try to do their best to remain consistent and competitive, but they could definitely slide from like number 3 right now down to like number 7. If you can just do that and stay competitive, maybe you'll be in a good spot.
All right, Dre, 60 seconds.
So,
quick reaction to Jokic's injury. Go.
So, and I'm sure Alan easily could have brought this up and he didn't. I think one of the biggest things that we consider, and I don't know how much Jokic is going to care about this, but obviously this puts him out of consideration for the award chase.
Potentially.
I mean, 4 weeks.
I think he's cooked.
I think that takes him out completely. That's a lot of games. He's got to make 65. If he's out 4 weeks, maybe he makes it. Maybe he hits 66.
He might just make it or miss it. I'll continue.
So it's very close. One point is this might highly put him out of consideration. I think with how tight the West has been over the last few weeks, and we'll talk about it later, but certain players in the West are starting to heat up and their teams are starting to heat up. This is a bad time to go out. This is it would suck, just like Alan said, if it was just him and the rest of the team was afloat, but they got nobody. they got
Aaron Gordon also still out. Don't forget.
Say it again.
Aaron Gordon is also still out,
and so is Jonas Valanciunas. So they got no one. They're not in a good way right now.
Paul, 60 seconds on the clock. Jokic's injury.
They'll be all right. Yes, it could have been worse. It's 4 weeks. It's not 4 months. He's still gonna. His numbers are so crazy that he's gonna come back. He's gonna make eligibility. He's gonna play the 65 games, and he's gonna get the award, the MVP award, because he should have really got it last year, but they had fatigue, so he's gonna get it. Farrell's gonna be mad, and they'll be all right. Now, when it comes,
I'm not a Jokic hater.
Yeah, all right. So when it comes to the team and how they're playing, this is a good opportunity for Jamal Murray, because he has a tendency sometimes to depend on Jokic. The whole team does. So, this could be a blessing in disguise in a way, where everybody else has to step up and develop their own games enough to, actually try and win some games without Jokic.
But who's everybody else? They're going to 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th man off the bench. Who's everybody else?
Yeah, all of them got to play better.
Moving on, fellas. Moving on. It's rapid fire takes. Our next topic: Ant leaves the bench. Paul, we stick with you. 60 seconds.
I wanted this one.
Ant leaves the bench.
Ant left the bench. Again, Ant doesn't have a bad reputation when it comes to chemistry issues, leadership, things like that. This is really the first on the court incident, I guess, with him. So
this is the second.
The second one was the first one.
He did this. This is the second time he left the bench.
Don't forget the chair.
What happened with the chair? I forgot that.
His first playoff series, when they lost, he ran off the court and threw a chair and it hit a fan.
Oh. Well, they're gonna say that's passion of the game. Heat in the moment. It was a playoffs. So listen, I'm not worried. I don't think anybody else is worried. He doesn't have a bad image. So he'll be all right. They'll be all right. Honestly,
I think that's Paul's mantra for this week. They'll be all right.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right.
60 seconds on the clock. And leaves the bench.
All right. So obviously it's a bad look. Paul's right. He doesn't have necessarily a bad reputation. I don't like the idea though of my superstar not finishing games. I don't like the idea of my superstar walking off. I really don't care what the reason is, unless it's like injury, something happened with the family. Sorry. Excuse me. Something happened with the family. He had to go. But just because you're losing and you're getting pulled, that's not a bad reason. You got to send a message when you're the leader of the team. I think it's a bad look for him to not stay out there, root on his guys. For the reasons Paul said, also for the Nuggets, like you got to see some of those guys, even if it's garbage minutes, get some minutes and see how they develop. So just be out there just to be a present face. But I don't want to see more of it. I'll tell you that. And this might be early signals of something that's going to come later, which is Ant secretly has not been the happiest with the team. And this might be signaling his frustration.
It's not so secret.
Right.
All right. Round us out. Allen, 60 seconds on the clock. Ant leaves the bench.
I think this isn't like the biggest of deals because to me, Ant has showed one, his ability as a leader already, and two, his ability to be coached. I think him and Chris Finch have a good enough relationship that this isn't going to cause some type of friction. Do you like to see it? No. But on the flip side, like I like when my star players have emotion. I like when my star players get frustrated enough to that point that they losing that to that point that they leave or something like that. If it happens another time, that's one thing. But this seems to be like one-off issue. Again, him and Chris Finch has a relationship. Chris Finch called him out in the media. I don't think this is a bigger issue. I don't think this is a sign of a bigger issue. I just think Ant he has high expectations of himself and the team, and this is just frustration seeping up out of that. If I see other things, then I would start to be worried. But right now, it is what it is. Just don't do it again.
Right at the buzzer. Boys are informed this week. Okay, next topic. We're staying with you, Allen. Russ becomes yes, right at the buzzer. Hold the follow through.
Hold on, wait a second. How is this a Russ take and I'm not the first option?
All right, fine. Dre.
Oh, brother.
Rapid fire takes. Russ becomes the leading point guard scorer. You only get 60 seconds and I will mute you.
Okay.
Go.
Russ is the third best point guard in NBA history. Let me tell you that right now, right? I don't know how much more this man has to do. But the fact is, he's on a bum team right now. He's their best player again, and he's just doing crazy things. I don't even remember what year this is for him. Like it's I think he's in year 16 or something like that. But he keeps exceeding expectations. He's been outplaying this terrible rep that the Lakers gave him for years. And honestly, he's getting to the point where it's almost ridiculous to the fact that this man is still hitting statistical oddities, and people are like, yeah, but Westbrook. This is it's an anomaly to me. It's an anomaly. He's one of the greatest point guards. I'm sorry. He is the third greatest point guard ever. He's one of the greatest players we've ever seen. And every time I see something positive happen for Russ, I just want to shout it from the rooftops because of all the negative energy he gets and all the negative treatment.
Lakers did nothing to him. He did to himself.
No. All right, I'm not hearing anything else.
Go.
Listen, Russell Westbrook is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest players and point guards ever played this game. We knew this before this stat. Now that he has this stat, nothing changed. Russell Westbrook is showing that he's still good enough to be critiqued. He's not washed enough to be above critique like other players who are playing 15, 16, 17, 20 years, right?
22 years.
So I didn't say that. So the thing is, because of that, we still critique him. We still wonder how he could still contribute to winning. We still critique his game. And that's why he still gets called Westbrook. Because now he's on a bad team doing this.
This is crazy.
And he's shown that he's good enough to actually still contribute to a team. And that's what we want to see because we want to see him get a chip. Right? So that's all I got to say.
Well said. Allen, last up. Let us know. 60 seconds on the clock. Russell Westbrook becomes the leading point guard scorer.
Yeah, man. It's just more indicative of the amazing career that he's had. He's always been an explosive scorer, and this kind of like puts a stamp on it for sure. I've said on this pod before, and when he broke other records and stuff, or been doing good on other teams, he was my favorite player for a good number of years. I just want him to have a happy ending. I just want him to be remembered well for everything that he's done, like in the NBA. I think this kind of helps that. I would like to see him on a different team and contribute to winning, like Paul said. But the fact that he's able to go to a team, contribute, put up good stats, play himself, and not seem totally washed, I think is a win for him, especially after that Lakers stint. Yeah, he did it to himself, but the Lakers fans, I don't know if he did it to himself. The Lakers fans did not help at all. So I'm just happy
we're not on the court.
Yeah, I'm just happy his image has been kind of like revitalized, so to speak.
All right, and our last rapid fire topic of the day. I wish Josh were here because this is an interesting one to hear his perspective on. But the Claw is heating up. He has 105 points in his last 2 games. 60 seconds on the clock. React.
Yo, this is what best players. This is what the best players in the world. This is what they do. This is what they do. Kawhi Leonard, obviously, he misses so many games, but like it's so easy to forget that how good he is when he's on the floor. He's kind of doing it in a moment where they need to, because it's looking real scary for the Clippers, right? We're down, way down in those standings. They won like 6 in a row. They can make it 7. They might have something here. I hope they ride out this momentum. He's doing it by just getting old-fashioned, good old buckets as well. That's what I really love about it.
Ethical hoops.
Ethical hoops. He's getting to his spots. He's making the mid-rangers. He's driving. He's going hard at the basket, getting and ones. It's just good old school buckets by Kawhi Leonard, and I love to see it. If they can ride it out, hopefully they can make the playoffs and turn the season around. This is a really important time in the season for them to do that. And I just want to see more, man. Stay on the floor, Kawhi.
Well said, Dre. The Claw heating up. 60 seconds. Go.
So this is a great reminder that at any single moment he's ever wanted to, Kawhi Leonard could be the greatest player on the planet. And I truly mean that. I've seen him do it in stretches. Over these last 6 games, for the record, he's averaging 39 points. That's really, that's insane. Doing it. And you know, the thing is, it is important that Alan pointed this out about the ethical hoops, because the way he's doing it as Kawhi Leonard always do it, which is, I'm just better at you at basketball. And it's insane. And it's just people just watching him and unable to do anything about it. The fact that injuries have derailed his career and whatever investigation was happening at the beginning of this season has also derailed his career is a hard thing to see. But I love seeing Kawhi Leonard great at basketball. I love seeing him dominate the game because I feel like the game is better when he's doing it. I don't know what this means for the Clippers, but I'm interested in watching.
Boys are in rare form with the timeliness this week. And to round out the entire rapid fire take segment, the stubborn one. Paul, get your hate off. 60 seconds.
I'm not hating. If I was a Clippers fan, I would be hating, though. Because Clippers fans hate Kawhi. And I keep telling certain Clippers fans to calm down. Because when he's on the court, and when I say this, he's never on the court, I don't care about regular season, blah. Listen, the Clippers are good. I was going to choose this game.
What?
Listen. I was going to choose this game. I was going to choose
They'll be
this
okay.
game.
What did he say?
Hold on, you're taking up my time. Hold on, I'm reclaiming my time. Listen. I watched this full game. James Harden looked like he was about to get 50 himself against the Pistons in the first quarter. And then Kawhi came in and was like, nah. And then they're trying to take a step back. Kawhi Leonard, if he is healthy, the Clippers are a problem. They have a good roster. They are a problem. So watch out for the Clippers if Kawhi stays on the court. That's a big if. But if he does, we shall see. Clippers fans, be grateful for Kawhi to an extent.
Listen,
mind you, the Clippers have 12 wins.
If the Clippers make it to the playoffs,
talk about
bad start.
If the Clippers make it to the playoffs, and James Harden and Kawhi Leonard is healthy, James Harden, all those we don't know if he's clutch, it's not going to matter. Just get the ball to Kawhi. and let this man go off for 39 points a game. Listen, man, Kawhi is going to cure all, man. That's the Clippers need to start praying for his health.
All right. All right.
Do you still want bad things for the Clippers, Andre?
Do I still want bad things for them? I do. I do indeed. But I'm just saying, it's a big if.
We're going to transition to our final segment. But before we do, just a reminder, please vote for Potter of the Week and next week's Game of the Week in the comments. Although this week it has been decided we are watching the Knicks Pistons. But go ahead and jump in the comments and let us know if there's anything particular you want us to pay attention to in that game so we can break it down for you. All right, now it is time for Debate of the Week. And for that, I have something else to show you, fellas. Fred VanVleet a few weeks ago and KD had a really interesting conversation, and I want y'all to hear it, and then we're going to react.
On guard. What do you mean by that?
I clarified this. I said, you got to be somebody go get you a basket and be able to guard.
That part.
Set up guards. If you're just coming down the court and not creating no advantages, not knocking down no shots, just coming up trying to make a pass. I'm not saying you can't play at all, but you got to go get you a basket out here nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. All this positionless basketball shit, and motherfuckers can't shoot, and motherfuckers can't run a set and get the ball, get you into your offense. There's no thought to the game. There's no change of pace. There's no setup. There's no transition between the coach and the floor to get KD the ball. Because I don't give a fuck how good you is. You still need somebody to get you the ball.
Yeah. But I don't need you to get me the ball. It's cool when you do, but I need you to go be aggressive so you can loosen up the rest of this defense for me, though. Because I can go get one on my own.
As great as you are, it's still my job to put you in the places that you are still, that gives our team the best advantage. Because you can do everything.
And exactly. And me as a player, my job is to assist you. Be ready to catch and shoot. When you done cooking somebody, I'm there to catch and shoot. When you want to go get you a bucket, I'm spaced out.
For sure.
You need a screen, and I'm gonna set a screen for you, and I'm gonna create an advantage that way too. I need my point guards to get a bucket. I came into the league with Russell Westbrook. Then I went to Steph. Yeah. I went to Kyrie, James.
Get buckets.
They passed and got buckets.
Yeah, that's
great. Which made everybody else better. You know what I'm saying? You see point guards who don't create an advantage or don't look to be aggressive. I'm just like, well, that's just making my life harder because now they don't have to guard you. You don't feel like you're a threat. Now they're just going to say, well, we're going to just use that resource to help guard me. So
it's still a whole nother aspect to the game that is lost right now, where it's like, yeah, we put in dynamic threats on the ball, but it's like at that point, it's damn near pickup. And when the game slow down, it take a little bit more structure to it, you know what I'm saying? So even just to ride the ebbs and flows of the game, of like knowing when a guy need a shot, knowing how to take advantage of the defense, like on the second side too, because just because they doubling you, that first pass not always a shot.
You're right.
You still need another play out of that. It might not be a shot, but it might be to get downhill and make another play. So I would say more like just a playmaker, but I think you've had both extremes. I think you've had super dynamic on ball threats, and I think you've had kind of guys that are not a threat playing at the guard spot, and I feel like I'm somewhere in between. So there was no more small guards.
I'm not gonna hold you.
Very, very interesting conversation. Well, let me set it up first. I
want you to go first, though.
Of course.
Oh my god.
So I think the captions on this did a really good job explaining that the two gentlemen were in a lot of agreement, but they were expressing their view of the game, and particularly the role and function of a point guard from different perspectives. And I think it ended with Fred sort of breaking down why he feels like KD came to the perspective he did, while still emphasizing what more there is to be had from a point guard. And I think this is very interesting because they're both champions, but they won in different ways. Right. You know, KD, just to summarize again, and the captions did a great job. Like, he's talking about floor spacing, and he's viewing the point guard in terms of how it helps him. Because in his mind, he's thinking about us winning and I'm getting off. And he's like, if my primary guard is not a threat, it's going to be 10 times harder for me to get off and therefore our whole offense to get off. So it seems like he's saying the most important thing to me is that the point guard is a threat and dynamic and has gravity, all that good stuff. Fred is talking about, well, what happens when you go too much in that direction, right? When your guard is just a threat and is low IQ, and it devolves your offense into pickup style, where you're just driving and kicking, what Kobe used to call accidental offense, right? And he's saying in high leverage moments, high level basketball, the game is going to slow down. You're not going to be able to do that. You need structure. You need organization to be able to manufacture a basket. And then he also threw it back to KD in terms of KD's success, saying like, yo, you're great. But like at a certain point, like for our offense to flow right and for us to put your advantage in the right spot on the floor for the rest of the team to also thrive. Like, yes, you can get your bucket from anywhere, but you getting your buckets from a certain spot actually helps the whole offense function better. It's my job to kind of put you in that spot and let you cook there to create the floor balance that we need, right? And he's like, guys who are super dynamic threats, a lot of them don't know how to do that. And they kind of go back and forth about all that. And then Fred's kind of, he describes like, listen, I get it. I feel like you've had both ends of the spectrums. You've had playmakers that really can't score, that move the ball, but have probably made it harder on you to individually score. And then you've had super high scoring dynamic guys. And KD went through his list. Russ, Steph, Kyrie, James Harden, right? And Fred's like, but listen, I'm kind of something in the middle, which is what he was, especially during his championship run. He helped put Kawhi where he needed to be and helped them execute. He knew when Pascal needed to look. He knew when Serge needed to look. He would run a fade or a curl for Kyle Lowry, right? But also, you couldn't leave him. He would knock down a shot. He could run a pick and roll. You couldn't play drop on him because he could duck under, hit three, or he could hit his mid-range pull-up or even a floater. So, and I'm sure the context of this is discussing how their team is going to operate. And Fred is confrontational. We saw his confrontation with Draymond Green. So he's bringing the smoke right to him because you said on a podcast, the small guard is dead. Meanwhile, I was set to be your starting point guard on this team that we're trying to win with. So, like, I need to understand what your perspective is on this. And Fred is almost selling himself like, hey,
yes.
I don't think you've ever had a point guard like me that can do both. But he's kind of saying, I'm going to need you to buy into that for it to work. And, like, you thinking that I'm at a disadvantage because I'm small and you thinking the solution to that is just me being able to score. That's not actually what I could bring to the table for you. I'm going to do something that maybe no point guard has ever done for you, in which is I'm going to make it easier for you intentionally, not by accident, not just by being nice, but I'm actually going to organize our whole team to get you easy buckets because that's going to help the whole team get easy buckets. So I have my thoughts on this, and I'll like tease them, but I really want to hear your thoughts and then my reactions to them are what I think is going to drive this conversation. But basically, I brought this up because I think it relates back to our conversation about point guards, where some of y'all felt like point guards were not needed in today. What I think this conversation highlights is I think the kind of point guard that y'all are thinking about, which I think is one end of the spectrum that KD was talking about, which is like the non-threat playmaker. I think in today's NBA, you all and KD would be right. That doesn't work. And I think many people think that there's only one other end of the spectrum, like KD presents and like Fred criticizes, which is the dynamic threat scoring point guard. And we've seen that be successful. Shea, Luka, Giannis, who is not a point guard, but a point forward, right? The dynamic point person, let's say, to not have to circle back to our old conversation, right? And while that may be true, I think what a lot of us, and probably a lot of people who play points, like this is where me and Fred relate, and a lot of people who have affinity for point guard, when you said this point guard's not needed, you're missing a part of the spectrum, which is what Fred, I think, presents himself as, and he also brings up, which is the middle ground, truly elite point guard that does both. And I think a lot of teams need that to be contenders, and we don't talk about that version of a point guard a lot. And part of my theory, and I have some research to back this that we'll get into as you react, is I think part of why people say the point guard is gone or you don't need it is because there's not too many of that point guard in the league anymore. There's not too many guys averaging 18 points, 18 plus points and 8 plus assists anymore. There's a lot of point guards averaging over 20, and there's a couple guards / forwards that get you 6 to 9 assists, but there's not a ton doing both. Now, historically, there's not been a ton ever that do both. Specifically, if I raise it to 20 and 10, there's only about 8 players in NBA history who've ever averaged 20 and 10 on the season. So I'm not being ridiculous. Like, I'm not saying that this is a kind of guard that was super prevalent, but if you lower the threshold to about 18 and 8, my research shows that between 2010 through about 2016, 17, 18, there was always 3 to 4 guards in the league who were the top point guards who averaged 18 plus points and 8 plus assists. And that used to be what made you the best point guards in the league. Those guys that could do it both. And I argue that is gone now. There are maybe one player a year since 2019 that does it every year. And in the league today, I would argue there's only about 2 guys even capable of it. Whereas before, like I said, it would be 3 to 4 averaging it the year, but there would be 4 to 6 that could, right? And I'm just going to give y'all some names. And if you want me to really pull up the years and the stats, I can, but I could just give y'all some names in the past era. The guys capable of / did it every other year or so, kind of traded it off. Chris Paul, Darren Williams, Steve Nash, John Wall, Rondo sometimes, but often didn't reach the scoring enough. And there's one more I'm forgetting.
Russell Westbrook.
There was one more I'm forgetting. And towards the end of like 2013-14, James Harden joined that mix, but there's another one of the old guard that I'm forgetting.
Darren Williams.
I said him. I'll look back at my research, but even then, I've named more than a handful of guys, and any 3 of them, each of those years in that period, were averaging 18 plus and 8 plus. In today's game, right now, currently, there's only one guard doing it, and that's Cade Cunningham. And in the league, there's only 3 capable of it, in my opinion, and that's Trae Young, Cade Cunningham, and Tyrese Halliburton. You can throw Luka in there if you want to. I know Jokic is a point forward, and he's giving you points and assists, but if we're talking about guards specifically, there's only 3 point guards in the world even capable of it, and only one of them ever does at a time. It's either Trae, Tyrese, and now Cade is in the mix. And before this year, it was just Trae and Tyrese.
You're not throwing LaMelo into that?
No. Because he doesn't play a whole season long enough for me to say that he can do it the whole year.
That's fair.
So I think because that kind of build in point guard isn't so prevalent anymore, we don't think about it. And therefore people feel like we don't need point guards because that isn't even considered an option of a point guard for a team to have. What say y'all to the whole conversation and also to how I think it relates to what we said about this? Do we need a point guard or not, NBA?
So I don't know that any of us, maybe we said use the phrase point guard, but I think we all can come to the contention that you need a playmaker for sure. Whatever point that takes, whether point center, point guard, point forward, someone, you need a playmaker. And I think Fred's right in the idea that the most dynamic guards are able to do both. I mean, even if you think of the top 3 players, 2 of them are doing that. But then you look at a guy like Steph Curry, and I think this was kind of the pushback, at least that I had, right? That you can still, how do I put this? It's an offset when you have a dynamic guard. Let me take it back. The reason why it didn't work with Kevin Durant necessarily on like a team with the Nets or something like that is because there was no other prolific playmaker on the team that was healthy. James Harden was never actually healthy at the time, right? So when he wasn't in, there was nobody really facilitating. So Kyrie gets taken out of that conversation. Steph Curry, on the other hand, if Steph Curry wasn't getting 10 assists, that's okay because Draymond would get 8, 9, 10, maybe, right? So there's still somebody there where the position of whoever the point is being bifurcated, right? Where you're getting a guy like maybe a Jalen Brunson that's getting 29 and 7. And then you have other guys coming off the bench like Deuce who's going to get you 4, Tyler Kolek who's going to get you 5, right? The idea of what I'm getting at is if you don't have that elite kind of point guard that Fred's talking about, there's still ways to do it if the team identity buys into kind of what we bought into last night, 25 assists, high facilitating. Everybody's doing it. If you don't have that, right? If you don't have a team structure that's everybody's going to be setting everybody up to do something and we're all dynamic.
Or if your roster doesn't have the IQ to play that way. If your
roster doesn't have the IQ, right, then yeah, you're going to need a friend because you're going to need a guy that's going to be able to make the right read. Sometimes the right read is to take the shot. Sometimes the right read is to make the play and hit KD for an easy bucket. More times out of 10, KD for an easy bucket is going to look like the right read, honestly. But the reason I don't think Kevin Durant is so wrong is because it's in his experience, right? Because he's looking at it from me, right? This is what I need to do to go win us 2 chips. This is what happened for me. And he's not seeing the fact that he hasn't run with a guard like Fred VanVleet before.
Not one.
He truly hasn't. Not once. The closest he had to Russell Westbrook, but even Russell Westbrook, when they were running together, wasn't in his facilitating bag until after KD left. That's when all the triple doubles really started becoming very, very frequent. To the greater basketball sense, right? It suffices to say the 3 guys that you said today are doing it in this league that are 20-10 guys. None of them are on winning teams right now, and none of them are considered.
Halliburton has just went to the NBA Finals.
That's true. So maybe Hallie. Maybe. Say it again.
And the Pistons are the number 1 seed right now in the East.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true.
So
that's true. That's true. I guess I just don't rate the Pistons still. That's probably why I don't think I'm mostly thinking about the Thunder, who don't have that. Right? What they have instead is a team that's the latter of what I was speaking of.
Well, they almost got beat by it potentially if that guard doesn't go down, which I think is why it's so interesting. Going back to this war concept we keep talking about, that's another sub war of lead guard style. Tyrese is like the last bastion, at least at that time, till Cade's ascension, of like that point guard versus this new dynamic scoring threat point guard, and that shit went 7 games of those 2 styles of lead guard. Right. You know, so I mean, I think it's an interesting back and forth.
No, for sure. For sure. I don't know where it leaves us in this league, really. I mean, I can tell you this, and this is why the Knicks Pistons are going to be so interesting, because that's going to be the main
and
attraction.
That was one of my main criticisms of the Knicks in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, but the problem with the Knicks, they're almost 2 different teams right now because of the coach.
No, I know, but like I part of my, again, I love Jalen Brunson. I model a lot of my modern game after him. But the one thing that I think is a part of my game that's not so much part of his game, I did think a lot of times in those 4th quarters, as clutch as he is and as much as he is a bucket getter in the end of the 4th quarter, to lead up to that, he almost is just reserving himself to be able to go play hero ball. And I feel like they would benefit so much from him opening up the floor to set that up, to starting 4th quarters, getting his guys open so that the defense is now worried about everybody else because everyone's in rhythm. And now you just go cook. And I felt like that's what Tyrese did a lot better in those last games of that series, is Tyrese would get everybody off and then kill you himself. And Jalen Brunson would just try to kill you himself, particularly in 4th quarters. And it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see how it goes down. But, the thing is also, right, and this is why we might not see the fullest example about it, because the Knicks are constructed, like I said, even if Jalen Brunson is only getting you 7, you have other guards that are coming in that are actually, even non-guards, are really trying to swing and get guys open for their best looks.
Sure, yeah. So, I think this conversation is less about the team play style, though. We are talking about these archetypes of guards.
No, I get that. I know
I connected it back to the team success point, but I think we are relatively agreed on that like as long as you have movement going on, you're good. But I think their conversation is really about like the success of this kind of guard. And like
the thing is, and this is why you can't move the 2 away from each other, because the best organizations, quite frankly, when they see a guard that's going to get only 7 assists, they do supplement. So I don't know if we have a true test of what that's truly gonna. There are no. Let's put it like this.
The Pistons made an interesting decision because they were set up like that too when they had Dennis with Cade.
Right.
And something in the offseason, I don't know if it was his development and he spoke to them or the coach came to this realization on his own. They got that other lead guard out of there and either charged Cade or Cade asked for more playmaking responsibility, and he did it, and they're now the number 1 seed in the conference.
Right.
It's interesting. I don't know if I fall on.
I don't know what I felt because I'm just examining what it is right now. And right now, our example, the current best team in the league is not doing what Fred is asking for, and that's just being real. But they have a team that's constructed to get everybody a bucket. So I don't know what matters more, honestly.
I want to just highlight another thing you said that I think adds color to this conversation and turn it over to the rest of y'all. Again, this is open forum, y'all, so just jump in. But I think you bring up Steph and how that is a part of KD's experience is another big part. Because I think, again, to keep this war concept going, I think Steph is what moved the NBA. Like, everyone credits Steph for moving to high three-point volume offense. But I think also Steph was a signal to the NBA that the dynamic scoring threat point guard end of the spectrum could win. Because prior to that, everyone was trying to get a Chris Paul, Darren Williams, John Wall, or turn their young draft pick point guard into Chris Paul, Steve Nash, Darren Williams, John Wall, right? And Mark Jackson was doing that with Steph. People forget. Early Steph popping off was a 2010 guy.
Yes.
He was being molded into that form. They even, when Steve Nash retired, they brought Steve Nash in as a consultant on the Warriors, right? Like little details. And it was Steve Kerr that switched it and said, hey, we can have this guy play make. You just kill and create so much gravity that our offense flows. But also this part, to your point, they said we're also going to construct the team a certain way where all of our players are high IQ so that the whole team, like you said, we did, is going to move and do it. And we don't have to have a high concentration of assistance. So I think a lot of the problem, what Fred is saying as well, is like, if you don't build your roster like the Warriors, but try to play like the Warriors, then you devolve into what he said of pickup style basketball, where you allow everybody to just try to play motion, move, and try to influence everyone to move the ball and be high assists as a team, but you don't have the IQ on the floor to do it. It's going to be trash. It's going to turn into pickup basketball, particularly at high level moments when the game slows down. Right. So that's why maybe for these other teams that don't have that kind of talent, which the new CBA is kind of making more the case, you need the 2010 guy. The Thunder, you said, are the best team, but what do you always argue? The Thunder have a lot of IQ and talent on their team, don't they? Which maybe allows them to play that way. But these other teams don't, and they need the 2010 guy. The Timberwolves, do they have that IQ? No. The Lakers, do they have that IQ? No. Who else are Houston? Do they have that IQ? And I think that's what Fred is low-key trying to say. That the Rockets do not have a roster like the Warriors. If you let these young boys, KD, we the vets, if you let these young boys play free, in high leverage moments, we are going to get cooked. I just saw it when we played the Warriors last year in the playoffs, and we had no structure, and we had no organization in high leverage moments, and the Warriors cooked us. We need structure. We need me to do my thing. I just needed a weapon like you. Y'all, jump in here. Me and Dre are saying a lot to chew on right now.
For me, it makes a lot of sense in my mind why KD has this specific perspective. Essentially, I think Fred's point at the end of the day is like you need that point guard at certain moments. It's become like situational. Even if the team doesn't have that point guard who's a starter, you still need a playmaker, someone who's gonna get your ball in the right spots for certain moments. Because he talked about when the game slows down, et cetera, et cetera. and he's right. In Katie's situation, he doesn't ever really need. That's a luxury to him. He doesn't need that because like he's so good at the game of basketball. So
Is that true though?
Yeah, I think so.
Or does
personally.
he just believe that because that's the life he's lived?
Well, I think he's so good that I do think he does not need that. I think personally he's one of the few guys, he's in rare air, who doesn't need that. It's a luxury and it makes the game extremely easier for him, which is what you need. You need the game to become easier for him. So I don't think he actually needs that. But that's not true of everyone in the league. Just like you said, it really depends.
But you know what I think about Allen? Because I want to stay with this point that you brought up very well. What was the eventual ideological breakdown between KD and the Warriors?
Was it an ideological breakdown?
100%.
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
100%. Meant perspective on basketball and how to play offense. It was a tension that existed the whole time. Steve Kerr was very transparent about it that first season, about how like he kind of politely said KD has some habits we have to get him out of. And him and Draymond kind of always had this tension where Draymond was like, listen, brother, like, we get it. Your mentality, your perspective is I gotta kill. We have you don't have to play like that on this team. We move the ball and get energy and use gravity and create great shots. We don't rely on just you being able to take advantage of your matchup, especially in our high leverage moments. And our high leverage moments is when we actually double down on our structure. And that they had issues like that all the time going back to season one. The one we remember is versus the Clippers. We remember that one, but they had that argument on national television games several times.
Meanwhile, Steve Kerr was in the timeouts talking to Kevin Durant, giving him Michael Jordan stories. This is what Michael Jordan did in this situation. This is what I want.
He was trying to politely do it. Like he was trying to teach him in the politest way possible. My son came over there and said, you know what Michael Jordan did?
Yep.
Pass to me. He empowered me. He told me it's going to come to me on this play. And I didn't believe him. I was like, who am I? And then lo and behold, he drove and then he passed to me. And you know what that did for our team? And you know what KD did the whole time? Looked this way and went, you know, I got you. So KD, because of the way he is, and this is why I always say the way you are basketball raised in the league, it matters a lot.
It does.
It matters a lot. And I feel like KD, and I even felt this way watching the Starting Five doc. And I was even saying this to my wife because she was interested and she was watching it. And she was like, I kind of like this KD personality. And I was like, I do as a human. I kind of like his off-kilter, like pure sort of vibe. But when he applies it to basketball, the egalitarianness in responsibility, I disagree with. And then it's contradicted because you're egalitarian when it comes to accountability and responsibility, but then you totally believe in solo killing and isolation in the end of games, and you totally believe. He said verbatim, he was like, he doesn't believe in that whole defense wins championship things. He's like, if we can't score, we're not going to win. And I was like, I understand why you think that, but also you're a scorer. And like, do you think about basketball in any other prism than your own game? Like, and from this conversation, it's clear to me that I don't think he does. I don't think he approaches basketball with a universalist perspective. I think he only sees it through the prism of his own game. I think that's why he went to the Warriors, because he was like, I like the way they play for the way that it's going to allow me to play. And then when they said, hey, brother, we're not just going to do what we do and then let you do whatever. Like, you have to also play this way. He was like, but I give buckets.
To me, how do I say this? To me, because I think you're right. I think he does see it like that. How do I put this? It's not just so much he sees it in like a scoring way, or like it is like kind of like egalitarian in a sense, but it's like the way the game is played now, it's not so much like there's so many, like each position had their own like responsibilities. It's kind of evolved into like where like players on the court have roles, right? Like when Brad Stevens went from coach to GM, he had a quote that always stuck out with me. He said, the game is not like there's no positions anymore in the game. Now there's just like three things. You need ball handlers, you need wings, and you need bigs. To me, that kind of took away from like the responsibilities that each position has, and now everyone has their own specific role. You see offense like Ant Edwards is a ball handler for Minnesota. Like, he's not their point guard.
They desperately need a 2010 guy.
Right, like, he's not their point guard. Josh Hart kind of low key sometimes plays like a big because he's asked to be out there rebound.
Josh Hart is the smallest big in the league. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right, you know what I mean? Like, to me, and so when I'm thinking about what KD said, that's why he feels that way, because now everyone has been kind of like regulated to these roles and not responsibilities. It's not one man's responsibility to set up people like Fred VanVleet was talking about. And just to further the point, you kind of don't need that in NBA, because in the same like episode, I guess it's Fred VanVleet's podcast. In the same episode, like before they got at some point, they were also talking about how the NBA there's not like a lot of like diversity in offense. Teams are not like running plays. People are doing like a lot of the same things. So you kind of don't need to have one person be responsible for running the offense when you're doing the same couple things over and over again. Like, at that point, there's no need for it.
Maybe not running it
until
but,
when you
but
need
capable
it.
of executing it. Yeah, exactly. Like capable of executing it, I think, is a difference. No, you don't have to be responsible for the whole system. I think that was James Harden's problem, right? I think when he turned himself into a 2010 guy, I think he misunderstood what that meant, and he turned himself into I am the system, which we know doesn't work. It never has. That's why Steve Nash never won. Right? But to have a guy who can take the offense and manipulate it in key moments to get specific results, I think is different. I think there's a little bit of a nuance there. And I think if you go so far on the spectrum of we don't need anyone like that because we could all do it, when it comes down to the end of a game, okay, which one of us does it? And what do we do with it? If you don't have someone that could command and organize it with the IQ to say, well, this has been what's been going on in the game. Here's who is hot. Here's how the defense has been reacting. This is specifically what we need to do. If you don't have a guy that can do it, and you don't have a whole roster that can do it like the Warriors, where Steph, Clay, and Draymond are all going to talk and come to the same conclusion about what we need to do, then what happens? And I would put the Thunder in that category too. The Thunder have high IQ guys. I believe they sit down, and the starting five doc showed that too. There was a lot of bench huddles where like Jalen, Shea, Chet, and Caruso would sit on the bench and be like, bang, 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 bada, boom, boom. This is what we got to do. And they would all be like, word, bet. And all understood it at a high level. Not just like, okay, heard what you said, and I'm going to go try to do it. Like they all intellectually discussed it and understood it. If you don't have that, and you don't have a guy, then you're in you're
in the bottom of the league. That's where
you're in this quasi contender land that the Rockets are in, that the Timberwolves are in.
I don't know that the Rockets are in it only because Fred's injured.
But because he's not injured again, Paul, you've been very quiet. I feel like you have a lot of thoughts on this. Like
the reason I've been quiet is because what I'm going to say is going to divert the conversation.
You don't have anything on. We've given so much substance out on this topic. You don't have anything that's on any of the stuff we've said. I find that very hard to believe.
I mean, I do, but I got a lot to say that's going to divert.
Okay, but we're going to let it happen. But like, I really want to know your opinion on what we're saying. But Paul, knowing you, I know you have a lot of basketball philosophy feelings. And I know that there's a lot that's going to take us elsewhere, but like I refuse to believe you don't also have a fair amount to say on what we are on right now.
I do. I just don't want to like drag it out. That's the only reason why.
But we want to hear you, and our audience wants to hear what you have to think about this stuff. You can take us elsewhere after because we've all sort of gone. Okay. But like round us out on this. I want to engage with you on this stuff. Like I know you have thoughts on this.
See, all right.
Here's how I'm gonna gas you up.
Okay.
I honestly think if Jalen Brunson turned himself into a 2010 guy, the Knicks would be unstoppable. I said it.
No.
The Knicks would be unstoppable.
No. I think the person that he is right now is what makes us unstoppable. Who is like a 20 and 6, 20, 28, and like 6 type of guy. I think that's what.
Do you think the Knicks have enough IQ for that to work at the highest level?
I think we're showing that we do.
Paul, he's
Hold
a
on.
36 guy right now.
I know. I'm saying, but do you think in that mold, because we're kind of agreeing that like if you're that mold, the team has to have enough IQ to work, right?
Yes. Yeah. I agree. with all of that.
Do you think the Knicks have enough IQ for that to work?
We're proving it.
Even after last year in the playoffs, it was proven they don't.
It wasn't. The coach was the problem. Last year, the coach was the problem.
See, that's always easy. That's always the easy thing to say. But if the same thing happens with a new coach, you have to look at your roster and say these are not high IQ guys.
Yes, it is not going to happen this year.
I don't know who. OG, I'll give you, is a high IQ guy. Mikal, the jury is out.
But okay, Cat is a high IQ guy.
Cat, the jury is out.
Cat is a high IQ guy.
The jury is out on that.
When it comes to
IQ,
he had the same issues with the Timberwolves. He had the same IQ issues with the Timberwolves that he's having with the Knicks.
The problem with
those defensive issues you talk about are IQ issues. Let's be real.
But we're not. We're talking about one side of the ball, though. This is a strictly offensive.
I'm just saying.
Okay, but this is one side of the ball. If we're gonna
Josh Hart, I don't think is a high IQ player. I'm gonna be honest.
See, Josh Hart, when he's locked in, is
as effort. He's effort.
No,
I don't know that he's IQ.
He's a triple double guy.
Okay, I didn't say anything about production. I'm talking about IQ.
No, you got listen. The way he plays, in order to get the triple, his approach to the offense, in order to be a triple double guy, he has to make the right plays at all time.
Paul, you and I know you agree with me. There's no way you pass up the shots that he does, and you're a high IQ player.
He's not when he's locked in. He's not doing that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But why does it? But you see what they qualify it when he's locked in.
The Knicks are contender. All right,
relax. I didn't say they were. I'm just saying.
I know you did.
The qualifier that you just put on it when he's locked in, that means you're confessing that that's not his standard. He's not on his base level. Isn't high IQ. He has to be locked in. He has to be fully motivated and convinced to play this way.
I'll go with that though. If you have the right players,
regardless of whether you're good with it or not, we're just objectively analyzing it. Like objectively, you can't say they're the same level of high IQ roster as a Thunder. You can't say that.
You sure about that?
They haven't shown it.
Have you been watching the Knicks this year?
In the high leverage moments, they haven't shown it. In high leverage, we haven't gotten to high leverage basketball yet. We haven't got to high level basketball yet. Okay. In high level basketball, thus far with this iteration of the Knicks, they haven't shown it
because the playoffs are in April. That's why. And I'm trying to tell you, I see the seeds of a different team offensively, a high IQ, straight all around.
So,
and you know what's crazy?
Let's say I agree with you. That would be the solution, right? Because that's one of the two solutions, right? Hold on, I got you. That's one of the two solutions, right? Is high IQ to go with that dynamic point, right? Yeah, so to your point, if the team is able to execute high IQ, then there's a good shot it works. Would you be willing to admit if it fails once again, you either need new IQ guys or Brunson has to turn 2010? You would confess that, right?
Absolutely.
I think then we're in agreement. I think then we're all in agreement.
Yes. No. I didn't disagree with anything that you said as particular. Now I'm gonna divert it a little bit, right?
Wait, I just want to hear the other Knicks fans' feeling on that. Dre, if it fails again, you either need more IQ players on your team or Brunson has to become a 2010 guy. And I think it can still be high 20s. I'm not telling him to turn to Steve Nash. He can still average, I think, 28, 29. He just got to get them assists up to like 9.5.
Here's the thing. And you're both gonna clown me for this. I don't know that we ever failed. And why I say that.
Say that again?
I don't know that we ever actually failed.
What are you
The reason why I say a first iteration.
Is the problem with you Knicks fans. Don't trigger me.
I don't even know what you're saying.
Don't trigger me right now.
Let him finish moderating. Hold on.
First iteration of this Jalen Brunson-led Knicks team, we suffered everybody in the starting lineup got injured. So last year was the real test, and we had a terrible coach that didn't know how to use the bench. This year is going to be the first year. It's true.
He's right.
It's true. We ran 6 guys against the 2.
Yo, the fact that you look at your team as only the 15 players on the roster, so that you can say the fact that y'all look at your team as only the 15 players that play on court, That way you can say, oh, we didn't fail. The coach failed. Oh, we didn't fail. We were injured.
Fair.
Like,
That's-
y'all are a team. It's a team. Y'all team lost. So you failed.
The circumstances.
You failed.
What do you mean by failure? What do you mean by failure?
You sound like Giannis. You sound like Giannis.
No, I don't. Because
you won't let him talk like this? You sound like Giannis.
Wait a
There is
second,
no
wait a
failure in life. In life, we won.
That's
There
not
is
what
no
I'm
failure.
saying.
That's not what he's saying.
You
That's
either
not
win,
what
you
I'm
either
saying.
win or you
You-
get better.
you want this to
There
be
is no
something
failure.
it's
It's a
not.
myth. There is
You
no
want this to
failure.
be
He's
something
wording
it's
it in a
not.
less than ideal way, but I understand what he's saying.
It's not less than ideal.
crap.
It's
That's
accurate.
Crap.
It's a less
That is
than ideal.
crap and it's cap. You can
How is
fail.
it-
Failure exists. You failed.
He's not saying
How
what
did I
you-
fail?
You
How did
failed.
we fail? How did we fail?
You lost.
We
Matter of fact,
lost.
I'm pulling my banner up. You did it. You did it. I'm pulling my banner up.
Put your
You
banner.
failed. You lost.
Put your.
You lost. You
This is
failed.
ridiculous. This is
You
ridiculous.
failed.
It's the same-
Stop
it's the
it.
same reason. It's the same reason that people don't look at KD and say, "Oh, he lost that last year with the Warriors," because he wasn't there. He was injured. You can't count that first year with the
You
Knicks.
failed. We
That's
don't do those.
crazy.
He doesn't count. We don't do
That's
none of that.
crazy.
You lost.
That's
you lost.
crazy.
You lost. You failed. You lost.
Didn't you put an asterisk next to the Thunder championship because you believe that if Tyrese was playing that they would have lost to the Pacers?
I didn't put an asterisk next to it. I just think in terms of when we break down what happened, I think it's fair to say in terms of what style is better, is a good chance that style would have won out if they had it. But that doesn't mean Indiana didn't fail. They failed. They lost.
That's crazy.
You
They
said
lost.
you said that the Pacers would have beat them if he.
I
would have been
believe
injured.
that, but that doesn't make me put an asterisk. I just acknowledge the truth of the situation. But the
If you-
Indiana
if-
Pacers
if-
still failed.
So
I
that's
don't-
what Andre is doing too.
But it's still a failure.
It can't
It's
be.
semantics at that point because if you
No,
believe,
it's not. No.
if you believe that chip wasn't,
Speaking,
if you
speaking
believe that chip
properly
was
and
tainted,
accurately
then you believe
describing
that chip was
something is
tainted.
not semantics.
Don't say
Semantics
that
is
you're-
choosing one word for a synonym. That's semantics.
Well, but
Failure
even
and not
the context-
failure are not synonyms.
The reason why the context matters, right? You're asking if we fail again, does Jalen Brunson need to become a 20-10 guy? And the reason why I'm saying not necessarily, or I can't really consider it failure, is because this is going to be the first year that we see Jalen Brunson being able to play his effective way while also getting significant rest during the playoff run, right? So he doesn't have to play 48 minutes.
But
and
then
we're
when
going to
does that end?
hold
How
on.
many? Wait, but when does it end? How many little nuances can you draw
Exactly.
every year to say, "Oh, but it
Injuries are
wasn't
not
this,
little
so we
nuances.
didn't
Not a
really
little
fail.
nuance.
It wasn't
Injuries are
this."
That's not a little
Because
nuance.
first
That's
it was
just
we had the wrong roster.
Forget
we
the
gave you that.
injuries. You can't blame the coach and call that a little nuance.
Come on now,
It's
bro.
not a
What
little
he's doing
nuance.
last year.
It's not a little nuance. That's what I'm saying. It's
No, but
a
I'm saying
significant
if we keep giving this to you, when does it stop? At first, you didn't have the right players. We gave you
That's
that.
why I'm
That's fair.
saying it's
That's
this year.
fair.
It's
Then
this
it was
year.
you didn't
Last
have the
year-
right coach. That's fair. That's fair. If you lose again this year,
I agree.
what are you gonna say to say it's not a failure this
I
time?
agree.
If it's this year, if it's this, it also depends on how we lose. If it's this year,
Oh my!
no,
you
it
can't do
doesn't.
that though. You
All right,
can't do
come on.
that.
now.
Just listen.
Injuries is
If
not the
we
same
lose
as you
on
your
defense,
coach,
wait a
man.
second. If we lose on, y'all are keep interrupting me to make whatever little points you're trying to make, and I haven't made my sentences through once. If we lose on defense because Cat's rotating or not rotating, that has zero to do with Jalen Brunson being a 20-10 guy. Absolutely.
That means
zero
it's
to
not
do
a
with it.
failure.
What does one have to do with the other? You're asking if he has to switch his
No,
play
but
style.
I'm
You're
saying-
complaining 2 points, Andre. Because
That's
first,
the point.
Thank you, Paul.
no,
Thank
no,
you,
no,
Paul.
no, but you brought up the coaching, the injuries, and it's not a failure. That's
didn't.
completely
I
separate from the
didn't.
original topic.
No,
So,
I
Andre,
brought that up because I'm
Yeah,
trying to say we don't
That's
have a
separate from the
circumstance.
topic, though.
We don't.
You
no, it's
guys
not
are acting like
completely
you're acting like because what happened wasn't good and wasn't the optimal version of what could have happened, then it's not a failure. What I'm saying is if you don't achieve or enact the optimal version of your team, then you failed because that's the fucking goal.
Let me
The
say-
goal is to play the best basketball you can. And if
Let me-
for any reason you don't, you failed.
Can I go back for a second? Because I'm assuming there's some nuance that we're missing here. You asked this question not to say, was your question, do I consider it a failure? Or is it your question, does Jalen Brunson need to change?
But all I said was
Just clarify that for me.
I said I didn't say that him playing one way would cause the failure. I just said that if you failed again, would
Okay.
it not be time to consider that change?
Correct. So I'm answering that question. and it matters.
But you started by answering by saying it wasn't a failure, which is why we're in debate, because that's ridiculous.
No, I'm starting by saying I don't consider it a failure. However,
that's ridiculous.
Just let me know when I can finish my point, and then I'll
go ahead.
Thank you.
Ain't no Knicks, right? Take that off the screen.
If we lose this, so you can consider this year a test, which is where I was going before everyone cut me off. You can consider this year a test because he's operating at the full length of his powers. And if I'm looking down the roster and I'm seeing Jalen Brunson has 29 and 7, and guys aren't getting as many shots, or we're not putting up as many shots as we need to, and I'm not looking, and I'm not watching the games, and I'm not looking at Cat failing to rotate time and time and time and time again, I could consider it a failure for sure. But my first stop isn't going to be, Jalen Brunson needs to change his playing style.
But I'm not. What you're conflating is you're saying that I'm saying Jalen Brunson failed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm describing the whole.
Jalen Brunson needs to change.
I understand that, but I'm not saying that means he and his personal productivity failed. I'm just saying X is X and Y is Y, right?
Yeah, sure.
All I'm saying is that if the whole equation fails, would you not try to change something?
It's not going to. My point is, if Jalen Brunson goes out and becomes a 20 and 10 guy next year, and Cat still doesn't know how to rotate, it's not going to matter.
Okay, that's different than saying it's not a failure. You were just saying we would still fail for other reasons.
Correct, but that's where I was going.
Okay, then. All right, but don't try to say it's not a failure.
I didn't say this year wouldn't be a failure. I said last 2 years I don't consider a failure.
You were saying last year wasn't a failure because you're analyzing it under the prism of did Jalen Brunson fail, which is what I'm not. I'm not saying that.
No. I never.
I'm not saying that. It's a failure. You failed. The team failed.
Jalen Brunson failing or not failing. I said I don't consider it a failure because of the coaching. I don't consider it a failure of the coaching. This year, if we fail, if we don't hit the playoffs, then this is a complete failure.
Why?
It's a complete failure. Because there are no excuses left. There are no excuses left.
It seems like you're gonna find one. That's what me and Alan are saying. It seems like you're going to find one.
There's a difference between
you already built it in. You just built it in. Cat's defensive rotations. You already prepared yourself.
That's not
what the excuse is going to be.
That's not an excuse. That's a reason. That's an analytical decision and a discussion.
So coaching isn't a reason?
I'm sorry?
Coaching isn't an analytical explanation?
No, it is an analytical explanation.
So why isn't that a failure?
Because he didn't have the opportunity to perform at a level for him, Jalen Brunson.
So you are framing the failure in terms of Jalen Brunson.
No.
I'm confused now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Stop framing it in him. The team failed. And the reason they failed was because of the coaching. That's a complete sentence. That's a sentence.
It's a complete sentence, and it goes to the sense of if Tom Thibodeau, right, actually utilized the best and utilized the full team, Jalen Brunson doesn't get gassed. We'll win a lot more of those games.
Agreed.
So that's 29 and 7.
But that means that Tom Thibodeau is the reason you failed.
Yes, he is.
Okay, that's all we're saying is that it was a failure.
That's why I said it's semantics.
But it's not
though.
But it's not one that
has misalignment of what you're trying to express. You're trying to express whether Jalen Brunson failed or not, and you're saying he didn't fail because Thibodeau was the reason for the loss. All I'm saying is the whole scenario was a failure because as the New York Knickerbockers, you're trying to win a championship, and you didn't, so you failed. And the reason was Tom Thibodeau. You keep trying to point out that it wasn't Brunson, which is fine. Fine. That doesn't mean that it wasn't a failure.
I get you. I think you're getting locked up on the nuance of the point here. It doesn't matter. Last year, if Jalen Brunson had 20 and 10 because of Tom Thibodeau, it wouldn't have mattered. This year,
I understand that, brother.
So then,
stop fighting the failure designation. That's what I keep trying to tell you. We are agreed on that. It could be true that you can say that Jalen Brunson doesn't need to change because he has not been and will not be the reason for our failure. If you had just said that, I would agree with you. But you keep trying to say that you haven't been failing, which is ridiculous.
I personally don't consider him failure.
You can say Jalen Brunson has never been the reason for a failure.
Wait, hold on. A failure for who, Andre? You don't consider a failure for who?
I don't consider a failure I don't consider a failure for Jalen Brunson. I don't consider a failure of the franchise itself.
That's kind of crazy.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I don't consider it.
I don't think it's failure. I don't like what.
That's true. He is the coach.
What?
So all right, let's get on this one. Listen.
Okay, so to summarize that, you're saying you don't think that a failure this year should trigger Jalen Brunson shifting his mode because you're saying he has never been the reason for your failure, and you don't think that he will be. You don't think that all other things can go right, but Jalen Brunson not being a 2010 guy will be the reason. Fair. Alan, do you agree? Or do you think that if they fail again this year, that maybe it's I really wasn't until you fought it. Like I didn't even put no sauce on it until you said we didn't fail, which is just crazy. I told you not to trigger me. Anyway,
we didn't fail.
Alan,
there's no failure in sports.
If they fail again this year, even if the reason isn't Brunson, that maybe it's time to consider Brunson going to 20. Particularly, let's say, and this sets us up to end the episode.
No, I got a lot to say. You gotta let me. I got 2 points.
Fair. This was gonna be a nice setup. We're about to watch them go against the 2010 team in the Pistons. If they fuck around and lose to the Pistons in the playoffs with the 2010 guy, just like they lost to Halliburton in the playoffs the last 2 times, who was a 2010 guy, would it be time for the team and Jalen Brunson to consider turning him into a 2010 guy? If they keep losing in the playoffs to 2010 guys.
Yeah, it really depends on how they lose. But yeah, you got to at least consider it. Because you gave 2 options before. You said, does he have to be like a 2010 guy or do they have to go get other high IQ players?
Either way.
Yeah, and in my opinion, I think the first step is to try to get more high IQ players. Because the way Jalen Brunson plays, he's been fantastic. You don't want him to change that too much. You rather
but it hasn't won.
Yeah. So that's why you try to improve the team in other ways. If you can't do that, then it's time to consider that if that's going to help the team. But I think overall, the difference is going to be a high IQ players because we see him already. We see it with Tyler Kolek already, right? We got another high IQ player out there. We got another ball handler.
There you
That's
go.
one of the roles I talked about earlier. You got another ball handler.
Yep.
And it seems to be helping them out. So you can
let's
improve the
see if he
team
can
in
do
that way.
when it counts.
Yeah. So it's really going to depend. But at the end of the day, you have to consider it. If that's what the team needs, after like you evaluate how they lost, if that's what the team needs, he has to at least consider it. And Jalen Brunson he wants to win enough that I think he would do it if duty calls for that. I think he would do it.
Especially if you keep losing to it. That's the point for me. Like if it was in a vacuum, sure, but if you consistently lose to that and you like refuse to consider being that, it's like you're smashing your head against the wall.
And a thing to point out, like Jalen Brunson is so good at basketball, like he's fundamentally and IQ that he's one of the players that's capable of doing it. He's so good. He's capable.
He would be my favorite player in the league if he did it. He would be by and far, no one even close. He'd be my favorite player in the league if he did it. Like by and far.
So let me say this, right? Just to address what y'all said first, just real quick. Jalen Brunson. The Pacers couldn't guard us, right? So the defense was really the issue last year. The offense, it could have improved, but it was still good enough to beat them. Number one. All right. Number two, getting back to specifically what KD said, right?
Okay.
KD said you can't to just like go back to exactly what the conversation was. He said that you can't just come down the court and look to pass and not be a scoring threat anymore.
Right.
I have a question for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
When has that ever been the case?
That's been the case.
Winning teams don't have those type of players. Never, ever.
Honestly, actually,
that's not true.
I agree with you. And I think that's part of what Fred was pointing out to KD of where there's a gap in his perspective.
That's what I'm saying.
He has a big gap in his perspective.
There's levels to it. Because I feel like what you're talking about is, but I think what you're talking about is players that are able to shoot and make a shot. Because it's different from like the scoring threat that KD's talking about.
No, but I think what Fred said this. Fred said, KD, you're only imagining the full other end of the spectrum of a point guard who, like a Rondo, who literally comes down to or Draymond.
But even Rondo, I was thinking Rondo. Rondo could
eventually, yeah. But that's what Fred was saying. Is like KD, like your alternative to a scoring guard is only the whole other end of the spectrum of a Rondo Draymond who literally doesn't like to shoot. And he's like, KD, you do realize like there's another version of this that exists, right?
Hold on. Chris
That
Paul,
does both.
Chris Paul, Isaiah Thomas, John Stockton, Jerry West, although he wasn't really a point like that, but he played the point
guard.
Who else?
He was fully a shooting guard. I wouldn't even call him a point guard.
Right.
Fully, yeah.
Steve Nash.
Same thing with Allen Iverson.
Steve Nash. The top guys in the history of even Magic Johnson.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Fred's saying. Fred's saying a true elite point guard can do both.
Championship teams always had that.
Right.
KD is wrong.
Yes.
He's straight up wrong. That's never been
dead wrong. He's dead wrong.
That's never been the case where you can just come down and just, you know what I mean?
But he's never
Lakers,
seen
Derek
it.
Fisher.
He's never seen it.
Lakers, Derek Fisher wasn't.
Derek Fisher is different.
Go back and look at the stats. Go back and look at the stats. In high leverage moments, Kobe had high assist games.
Right.
Especially during the Shaq years.
Right.
Especially during the Shaq years.
Right.
He had a lot of 40, 10, 49 games.
Yes.
Go look at the stats.
See, Derek Fisher was benefiting as a catch and shoot guy, kind of like what KD is referring to.
Yeah.
Also, the triangle offense was the previous version.
Yes.
I want to say this correctly. In terms of either having the super high IQ ball handler versus having a high IQ roster in a system, the team that did high IQ roster in a system before the Warriors was first of all the Spurs, which is where Steve Kerr got it from.
Tony Parker got buckets as well.
Right. And then it was the Lakers before them, and then it was the Bulls before them. So again, It still comes down to the same dynamic. You either have the guy who is the super high IQ, or you have a super high IQ roster and a system. The triangle is that. The Lakers championship teams always had high IQ rosters and the system. So did the Bulls, so did the Spurs, so did the Warriors. If you didn't have that, you had the high IQ player that Paul just mentioned.
But see to the point though.
LeBron.
Right. But see, the thing is though, right? When you really think about it, unless you're outside of bigs and maybe power forwards, the best player had to be a point to an extent. Which is why I said
high IQ.
And high IQ, which is what I said to you in previous conversations.
We know we clarified and understood that it was the guard part that was throwing us off. It's all good.
Maybe KD should reevaluate his game.
Get to it.
I mean, but that's really a question because for years,
Paul, and this is what I was trying to hint at with he only thinks about the game from his scorer's prism. He does not have a universalist perspective on the game of basketball.
Yes.
I mean, truly, and we've all said this, KD has only ever won with Stephen Curry. The common denominator in every
has a universalist perspective.
What do you mean?
I said Steph Curry, a player who does have a universalist perspective.
Correct. So
remember what I said about Michael Jordan? Everyone says Michael Jordan score. I said Michael Jordan understood the full game of basketball, which is what Steve Kerr was trying to tell him in that huddle. For all the buckets Michael scored, he understood how this game works.
KD got a six-man mentality as the best player.
It's because he was always number 2. It's because he's always been number 2. It's because he wasn't the number 1 high school draft class guy. He wasn't the number 1 pick. He wasn't ever the number 1 player in the NBA. He has constantly had a chip on his shoulder trying to prove he's the best, and he thinks he can do that through buckets.
That's a fact. And
that's why he never wants the accountability of being the best player.
KD,
it's also why he never wants the accountability of being the best player.
I don't want it to violate KD.
You just said he had a six-man mentality.
What would y'all do if KD comes on and he becomes a 20 and 10 guy? What would you do if KD becomes a 20 and 10 guy? What's stopping the Rockets?
Oh, hold on. There's real shade in the chat. Hold on.
What's going on here?
This is facts.
Yeah.
This is facts. I told you your basketball raising matters. That man has always saw himself as a little brother trying to prove something.
Jordan, UNC.
Oh, Jordan, word.
No,
Yeah.
that's a fact, bro.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good
That's a
point.
fact.
For the
Listen.
listeners, is because
That's why he never wants the responsibility. He said verbatim in the starting five, Doc. He was like, leadership. I think everybody on the team should be a leader. Like everybody should be able to
I
tell
was thinking,
everyone what they should
everybody
do.
except him.
And I was like, brother, what? I was like, dog.
You gotta have that type of mentality to be as good as you are as Kevin Durant and then go to the Warriors.
No, but he would be.
That's a fact.
The way you ended that sentence made me agree with you. Yep.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean?
That's the only reason he can do it. You know who would never have gone to? Not even Russell Westbrook.
We know we don't have to do it. We don't have to. We know.
Like
that, Russell, I don't think Russell would have did it either.
He wouldn't have done it. Let me tell you something. The NBA is lucky that Russell Westbrook never had KD shooting.
I'm gonna make a banner for Russ. I'm gonna make a banner for Russ rant. I'm gonna make a banner for Russ rant as well. I'm making a banner for Russ rant.
But listen. All I'm saying though is KD is wrong. If you just think about the point guard aspect of it, right? He's wrong because he kind of has a negative view of high assist guards in a way, and I don't think he realizes
exactly
because again, you can't.
His play style.
Great teams don't have guards that come down and can't get a bucket. Even John Stockton, who old heads like to hate on and say he only got that minutes because of Karl Malone, he was one of the best 3-point shooters ever.
Fact.
He got buckets, man.
Fact.
So people gotta understand. Like, listen.
And I want to go through his roster. I want to go through the point guard because Fred VanVleet was doing this so delicately. That's how I could tell he's smart because he had conversational IQ in that moment where he was saying things to KD without like being like he was trying to get some shit through KD's head without offending him.
Yeah,
so when he went down the roster, think about Kyrie's winning experience versus when he was with KD. Kyrie is used to being that guy with the high IQ guy.
Yeah.
So you put the two of them together. He thought KD. He was like, "Are you gonna be that?" He tried to be the high IQ guy himself in Boston. Did not work, and he admitted it. He said, "I understand now that shit is difficult."
He apologized to LeBron.
He said that shit is very difficult, and then he said, "Oh, but KD just won. He must have learned it. Let me go do it with KD." That first half of the season, they said, "Oh, neither of us know how to do it. We need someone that could do it. Let's go get James. He knows how to do it." As soon as he got hurt, what? Oh, man. The one time I ever seen KD do it was when James got hurt in that playoff run. That was the best I've ever seen KD, but then his damn toe was on the line. I never seen KD better than how he played in that Bucks series. He was doing everything. He looked like that guy. Like he looked like that, like LeBron, Magic, Michael, Kobe guy. I'm gonna be the best player. I'm gonna be high IQ. I'm gonna run this shit. I'm gonna do it. But he lost, and he never did it again. The next year, he looked like trash against the Celtics in the playoffs.
Look at the comments, man.
Hey, know that for now. We on a roll. He looked like trash. Then what did Kyrie do? The minute he got away from KD, what did he do? Let me go get with one of those guys again. I'm gonna go get with Luka. And what happened when you put Kyrie back with another high IQ ball guy? Where did they go?
That's a fact.
So the finals.
That's a fact. And see, KD, if KD,
where did KD go? Bucket getters. I'm gonna go play with more bucket getters. Let me go to the Suns.
Because he only respects one kind of.
Who did he get rid of? Wait, full circle. Who did he get rid of when he got there?
Chris Paul.
He got rid of Chris Paul.
He said, "You
Bradley Beal.
You don't fit
Bradley Beal.
You don't fit what we're trying to do here." And Chris Paul
what did we all say? If they kept Chris Paul, they would have won.
Yes.
If they kept Chris Paul, they would have won.
Chris Paul. It's so funny because he really hates what he needs. He really hates.
On God, there's a bigger point to be made about that. There's a bigger point in life. I won't make it, but in life, there's a bigger point to be made about that.
I'm just saying, if I was
he hates what he needs.
Let me just say
oh my God.
Let me just say this. I hope Fred is okay. Let me just say that. I
38-year-old man, but let me relax.
Relax, man.
I hope Fred stays okay. I hope his I hope his tenure with the Rockets continues because KD
On my
might
mama, if Fred gets traded, I'm tripling down
100%.
on this theory. And this is
100%.
now my new Kevin Durant take forever. This man has a bad idea of what point guards are, and so he actually gets rid of the exact kind of player he needs everywhere he fucking goes. That Suns team with Chris Paul was going to win a chip.
Yes.
They were going to win a chip.
Yes.
Ayton, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and who was the three?
Because Giannis since then.
Who was their three? It was a great 3D guy.
I think it was a Kogi or something like that. It was
Or
someone.
Royce
It wasn't like a big guy.
Royce O'Neal, maybe I think it was.
Or Jay Crowder.
Oh, it
Jay
was
Crowder
Royce because he won with the
It
Nets.
was Royce, and then they had Okogie off the bench. They had Okogie and Grayson Allen off the bench, and Jay Crowder was still sitting over there. Man,
And Giannis since then has not been able to hit a consistent jump shot. That's how he was able to beat.
wait though, who did Giannis play with?
True Holiday.
Chris Middleton.
Drew Holiday, high IQ guy. And what did they try to? They won that way, and then what did they switch?
They got rid of him.
And got what?
Damian Lillard.
The dynamic score, and they went nowhere. And they went nowhere.
Do y'all think
The examples and the evidence are right before our eyes. It's right there.
Y'all
It's
think
right
Giannis was
there.
part of that decision? Because I truly don't think he was a part of that decision.
That's not his point, though. The point
Either
is
way, it don't matter. Either way,
basketball is basketball.
either
That's
way,
what
I'm
you-
saying that the evidence is right before us for
Yeah.
this point, for this discussion. Like,
Yeah, KD. Yeah.
because they damn sure weren't a high IQ enough roster to do that.
No.
Watch
And then
KD
Kyle Kuzma
force
was
himself to Detroit and then try to get rid of Cade.
Like, the guy,
No, but
Yo,
can't
you
get
did a-
buckets, though.
You did a good thing here, brother.
See, when
yeah, but you're gonna be telling him like, okay, stop passing, bro. Like, chill out. Like,
no, that's exactly what
You know
you
what's
said.
crazy?
shoot the
You know
ball,
what's
bro.
crazy?
Shoot the ball. Like,
You know what's crazy? We should have peeped this with Russell Westbrook because when they were running together, he was high. Yo, Russ, shoot the ball. Rude. Yo, Russ.
I said this.
Russ, KD's really the problem, actually.
When we
KD
first
really-
ever potted, one of our first conversations with KD and Russ, and what did I say? I said the way Russ plays is KD's fault. I said that verbatim. I said the thing that KD hated about how Russ played on the Thunder was his own fault. I said that.
That's a fact.
I literally said that.
That's a fact. That's actually a fact. Years later, I can concede
Fair
this.
about the pop of blood vessel, man. Yo, so now I'm thinking Katie was talking to someone in this whole clip. He's shooting shots at somebody. I want to know who.
Draymond Green.
Yes.
Yeah, it had to be.
And Chris Paul. Don't forget, him and Chris Paul have beef. And I that's how I know that it was KD that got rid of him. That's how I know it. Because he was like, yo, we need more of a threat. Chris Paul isn't enough of a threat, which is why we lost to the Clippers. No, you lost to the Clippers because y'all only played 10 games together, brother.
Nah, these clips gonna go crazy.
KD's gonna call us. KD's gonna call us. We're gonna get comments about the burger.
He's going to tweet us for sure. If we go viral,
We've
he's
gotten
tweeting
to
us
the
for sure.
bottom of it, bro. We just went through literally all the contenders from the last 10 years, and we've identified the same damn thing. The same damn thing.
But he did show respect for Westbrook in that clip with VanVleet.
No, because Russell Westbrook changed to his kind of basketball.
Kyrie.
Russ changed to his kind of basketball at the end. So he's like, yeah, Russ did what he was supposed to do.
Remember what I said? Remember when I said that KD's defensive Russ in the public was toxic? When people kept making the criticisms about how Russ needed to be a higher playmaker, the fact that KD kept telling Russ to double down, again, your fault.
So you think
your fault?
So let me ask you a question, Farrell. Do you think that the beef that him and KD had, that Westbrook and KD had, was more so about Westbrook not making the shots, or was it about
no? I don't think
not getting the ball?
No, I think my whole theory is that they actually never had beef with his play style, and that's the problem.
So where's the beef? They had beef though. You can't.
They had beef. No, they had beef because he left. KD left.
You don't think they had beef?
No, KD left. He said it. He said it. Yeah, he said it. KD left because again, he thought that there wasn't enough talent on that roster, and he was tired of playing with it being so dependent on his scoring. And he saw the way the Warriors play, and he was like, "Oh, that'll make things so much easier for me. I want to go over there and play that style of ball." He had no problems with Russ and Russ's style, which is actually the problem. The fact that he did not have an issue with Russ's style. And then ironically, the minute KD leaves, Russ plays the way he then played.
But see, you can't say they play better over there for my play style and not be a direct critique on Westbrook.
It's not, though. He wanted Westbrook to play the way. His biggest issue with the Russell's roster was Anthony Robertson, and he said that in the combo of VanVleet. He was talking about spacing, and he was like, yo, like, later in that conversation, he was like, yo, like, we had shooting guards that, like, couldn't shoot. Right. And he had two of them, Roberson and Cephalosha. Both versions of the Thunder contenders had a non-shooting two. His problem was never Russ. He told Russ to shoot like that.
If you go from that and have an opportunity to play with the Warriors, it's like you're looking at heaven over there.
No, deadass. Deadass. He's looking at
what I always say. That's why Russ should have been your two.
Yeah.
That's why Russ should have been your two.
Russ came. That was the problem with the Thunder. Russ was a shooting guard. He came in as a shooting guard.
I'm so happy it took 3 years that y'all finally getting it.
He came in as a shooting guard.
Russell Westbrook would not be as great as he has been in his career.
Yeah, but I don't
know if that's true.
Don't go all over there. Stay where we're at right here. Because we unlocked this. This is high level basketball discussion. We just this is high level. This is high level. We just broke down 10 years of basketball trajectory related to a position and how it's influenced not only winning but superstar trajectory and narrative. And it comes down to this key player in the last 15 years, Kevin Durant, having a fundamental misunderstanding about one, basketball in general, but also how a specific position is meant to play.
Yeah, it's funny. If KD, LeBron could say the things that KD says. What? If KD played more like LeBron, then maybe would have been further along.
Obviously, LeBron, that's the thing. LeBron, for as much as we hated on him early in his career, he stood on this philosophically.
Yes.
Hey, I know that because of how good I am, I'm never going to have that kind of talent on the roster. I'm never, ever going to be on a high IQ roster. No team can do that. It's impossible. No team will allow, the league will never allow my team to get that much talent, and no team can afford it.
But he's been like that since a kid, though.
But I'm saying he's known this forever. He's known. Yes. There's no way ever, with how talented I am, there's no way I'm ever going to have that high IQ of a roster.
And then he tried. He tried. And then Dewey Wade started getting injured. And then he's like, all right, well, I guess I got to be myself again. Here we are again.
I have to be a high IQ guy. I can't just get buckets. I have to be a high IQ guy and make this whole thing work.
Yes. And every superstar gets to that point.
Every one of them. Every
superstar who's not a big gets to that point. And the thing is when it comes to
because bigs do too. They just don't get high assist numbers until Jokic. But Shaq understood that. Hakeem understood that. Tim Duncan understood that. Who was the high IQ player for the Spurs system? Tim Duncan.
No, everybody.
Tim Duncan.
Everybody.
Tim Duncan.
Of course, they were the IQ system version. But Tim Duncan understood that needed to work.
Wait.
Paul, I'm not saying that they were the version of like LeBron-centered high IQ person. I'm just saying, even when you go the other route of like high IQ roster and system, the best player has to be high IQ enough to know that that's what they need. Like Steph did, like Mike did, like Kobe did.
Or do you put that on Greg Popovich, though? You could put that on Greg Popovich.
It's a combination. Someone convinces them, right? Someone convinces them. Phil convinced Mike, and then he convinced Kobe. Greg convinced Tim, and Steve Kerr convinced Steph. Because again, Steph was fully being modeled the other way. And Kerr came in and said, hey, listen, that's great, and we can maybe win that way. A lot of teams have won that way. I've personally won 2 different situations this way. So why don't we try this? Because you got this guy, and I think everyone here is pretty smart. And I think I can get another smart guy over in Denver to come over here for the cheap.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right about that. But at the same time, man, I just think it comes down to, and this is why these front office guys don't understand the game of basketball in the shows, because they think just turning guys into, if you're a guard or a forward, just be a high usage, high usage, high assist guy, and be the point guard. But it's deeper than that. It's not just about being the point guard. It's about and getting high assists. It's about understanding.
I don't even think they're trying that anymore. I think they
Say that again.
I don't even think they're trying that anymore. They just want their guys to score.
They're not trying anymore.
It's changed now. It's changed now.
It's a lot of different reasons though.
And that's why people say you don't need a point guard anymore. It's because no one is trying to develop any more 2010 guys. Yet the 2010 point guard teams keep winning. The Pacers, now the Pistons. It's either that or you have the high IQ system. The Thunder, the Warriors, the Celtics. The Celtics were high IQ system.
I think 20 and 10 can't be the marker anymore, though. I think you got to lower the assist and raise the
Nuggets. The Nuggets were high. The Nuggets were high IQ player version, right? Jokic, right? Giannis was high IQ system.
Right. So I think 20 and 10, we got to change that to like 25 and like 7.
25 and 8.
No. You either have to have your 20 and 10 guy, or you have to have a high IQ roster that can play a system. That's what we've discussed. That is what it is. That's the way to win. Still, it's just that way more teams are trying to do high IQ system guy instead of 2010 guy when they don't have enough IQ on the roster. That's the problem.
I'll say this. Let me to close out. I want to hear what
trying to match the Warriors and the Thunder, but they don't have Warrior Thunder talent.
I want to hear what you got to say about this, Farrell. So KD would probably say if Andre Roberson could hit a 3, I would have more assists. So what are you talking about?
KD would never say that. KD would never say that in his life. Are you crazy?
He doesn't believe in passing. He doesn't believe in pass. He believes in everybody cooking themselves.
No. Because he did say in that same conversation with Fred VanVleet, I need my guards to hit open shots.
He doesn't say he's going to get them. He didn't say anything about helping them get there.
No, he did.
No, but he said I'm gonna set a screen. No, he said I'm a floor space and I'm gonna set a screen. That does not say passing to you.
He did say, I need you to make the game easier for me by making open shots.
But he said nothing about passing to them.
If they are open, they have to get a pass.
Not from him.
Oh my God.
Not from him.
Not from him, brother.
When I get the ball, I need to score.
That's a fact. He's here for what? Yo, listen, we clown Michael Porter Jr., but Kevin Durant started this archetype.
He said when MPJ was drafted that he was baby KD.
Yes, he was.
You did. That's crazy.
The ball stops.
And now he's going to do it. And I love that he's doing what he's done. Alan, I don't know how you feel about it, but I hope that GM perspectives change about Michael Porter Jr. because to Dre's point, he was being under fucking utilized in Denver.
Yes, he was.
He was being absolutely under fucking utilized. The role that Aaron Gordon had is the role that they should have given MPJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aaron Gordon should have been the spot up guy and the dunker guy. MPJ should have had offense ran through him.
100%.
They should have.
They could have had. There was no reason he could have been averaging 25.
And you know what? When Jokic was out after the bubble, and it was Murray and MPJ, he was, and they were like 4th in the West still.
Yeah,
it's just been tough for him because his back issues and stuff. So I'm sure they were really scared about that. But
my back would be tough too if I had to carry the whole offense.
My neck and my back.
Come on.
Well, he's been amazing.
Let's wrap it up. This has been great. I don't want to oversaturate it. What are the final points? We just did genius level basketball discussion. How do y'all want to close it out? I don't have any more to say. We cracked the code of the last 15 years. We literally cracked the code.
The Nets just got a 20 and 10 guy.
Last 20 years, actually. Last 20 to 30 years, actually, if you think about it. Because we went back to Isaiah and Magic and Hakeem and Michael. We broke down the last 30 years of NBA basketball.
That's 40 years.
Facts.
If the Nets went and got a 20 and 10 guy, they'd be in a much different world right now. A whole different world.
They still
no.
They still don't have enough talent. They still don't have enough talent.
A whole different world.
We have
I'll tell you that. They'd be a play.
They're doing the other way. The Nets are doing the other way. And Nets are doing the high IQ players all around. That's what the Nets are doing.
They're trying to do that. Because they tried the superstar model and it failed because they used the wrong guy. They did the wrong pairing. They put 2 of the I'm going to be the scorer guys together and said, all right, is one of y'all going to be the high IQ guy? And they both were like, nah. And they're like, you got to go get another one. And they got James Harden. And they said, James, are you going to be the high IQ guy? And he said, yeah. And then his hamstring tore.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Fred VanVleet coming back.
Said, no more of this. I want a system.
Fred VanVleet coming back is going to mess up the Rockets offense.
Kevin
You're
Durant's going to try
bugging
to get rid of him.
You're bugging out.
No, we'll see because
You're bugging out.
like Fred VanVleet said, he's one of the guys that it's like a hybrid of that. So maybe we want to see.
No, but the way they've been playing like this for the whole season so far. So at first it's going to be messed
It's going to be an adjustment, but I
That's what
actually
I mean.
to go back to what me and Paul snickered about Fred VanVleet selling himself. Fred VanVleet has put up numbers in this league before.
Yeah.
I think Fred VanVleet with he was awesome before. I think Fred VanVleet, when you put a KD weapon next to him, I 100% think he's a 2010 guy. I'm willing to stand on that. I'm willing to stand on that. I'm willing to stand on you put a KD next to Fred VanVleet. He could be a 2010 guy, at least 18-8. At least 18-8.
I'm telling you right now, for Fred VanVleet's career with the Rockets, he better not get above 7 assists. Because Kevin Durant's going to have him moved immediately. Okay? Immediately. He's going to check them stats and be like, wait a second, 7.1? You're up out of here, brother. Come on now. You know what the system is. Go get you a bucket. You're going the wrong way.
And Amen and Sengun gonna have some serious adjustments when he comes back.
That's a fact. Yeah.
I think it'll be easier for them, though. It'll make the game simpler for them. Right now, they're being asked to be high IQ players, and like they're winning some games, but we see the gaps, though. We see the gaps in their IQ. Now, do you want to wait 4 years for their IQ to catch up, or do you want to put a high IQ veteran there to teach them and get them there? That's the question. The Thunder, what did they do? The Thunder said, let's give him a year with a high IQ guy and watch what happens. Put Chris Paul on this team for a year and watch them take off after that.
It's going to be interesting. Very interesting.
Put Iggy next to Steph, Clay, and Dre and watch what happens after that. Put Drew Holiday with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and watch what happens after that. We've seen it again and again and again and again.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right.
That's it. That's my whole basketball belief system.
Your whole ethos.
In 45 minutes. We did it. I should retire from the podcast right now. All right, y'all. Final words. I wrote Dre Wayne Allen. Final words.
I guess it's just interesting that we did all that. And like I said before, like KD's one of those guys who may not need it. And at least it's just interesting to me that like around this time this clip came up, he was on his pod. We also saw like situations where the Nuggets couldn't get him. I mean, the Rockets couldn't get him the ball in the clutch, and it would have been a situation where
it was a whole highlight reel of him not being able to get the ball.
Yeah. So like he's saying like the other type of point guard, the scoring type of point guard is like easier, but like just like Fred VanVleet said, situational things come up where you need that guy. So I don't think KD will ever learn that lesson, but it's just interesting to see that dynamic actually play out in real life as he was making these comments. But great pod today, fellas.
That's a great point. Alan. That's a beautiful point. Paul?
There is no losing in sports. There is no failure.
You only win or you get better. There's no failure.
Got it.
This failure thing in sports is a myth. Hey, I'm not gonna do this episode, but in the last 2 weeks,
oh my gosh,
has he not been doing it again?
Oh my gosh.
Has it? Just answer yes or no. Did he not do it again?
No, I'm gonna say no because of his comments after the fact. No. I would have said I would agree with you if I didn't hear him explain himself.
He did it again. He did it again. And you know he did.
No,
every year, every year, bro. Every year.
That man is a well-respected superstar.
My Giannis tracker is not dormant. I just been leaving it alone. But every year without fail, like clockwork, bro. He's gonna do something. He's gonna do something, bro.
Leave that man alone. Cherry picking.
We shall
windmills at the buzzer up 20.
That was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That was crazy.
I don't want to have this conversation about Giannis.
That was a crazy thing to see,
bro.
His comments afterward, I mess with it now. I like his comments afterward.
Because we suck, I'm going to act out.
Nah, you want
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Those comments crazy. Those comments made it worse.
Nah, I mess with it.
Those comments made it worse. That's what I'm saying.
He said, "I need to wait to see. We got to have an identity. If we be the villain."
And that plays into exactly what I said. Whenever he feels like he has to garner respect and assert his leadership, he does some BS.
It wasn't about respect, though. It's about waking up his team. It's about getting these dudes some life.
Allen gonna defend Giannis down, bro. Paul not talking because he know this is the third season in a row. The first one, he's like, he don't do this. The second season I said, I'm gonna call it every time. He said, listen, it still hasn't been enough. Paul knows it's the third season now, and that's just that I've been talking about it. That's why he's not saying Nathan.
You put a tracker on a lot of these guys in their careers. You have a lot of ammo on them too. You just cherry picking Giannis.
That's even you saying that. It means you're not debating it no more. You just want me to get off of him.
This is what I said to you last time. This is what I said to you last time. Come on, don't do that.
Y'all look, I didn't make that a topic, bro. I would have did a whole thing about a Giannis. We are back talking about another Giannis incident once again.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is
it wasn't the Pacers this time, so y'all can't give me that BS. It wasn't the goddamn Pacers.
All I'm trying to say, I haven't seen a positive Giannis headline in a minute, and that needs to change.
In 3 years,
I haven't seen
that's not his fault. That's not his fault.
This team is trash. You're not going to see no headlines.
I need to see Giannis. Giannis should go to the Nets, high key. But
all right,
no, stop.
Light it up. Great pod. Light it up. Don't forget to vote for Potter of the Week and for next game of the week in the comments. Light it up.
And check out our stream, 2K streams.
Friday, 10 p.m. every day on every week on Twitch.
And maybe on a Saturday once in a while, like tonight.
Light it up.
Yeah. Vote Potter of the Month. Tune into us. Peace. Potter of the Week. My bad.
Come on. It's Fastbreaks. Listen. We back with another one.
Fast breaks, yeah, we coming with the takes. Never early, never late, but we always push the pace, yeah. And we really study tape, y'all just view the highlights. Man, we really watching games, yeah. You just watch from the stands. We run 3-man weeks, Paul, Dre, and Allen, yeah. Way more than a fan. We got love for the game, we don't have to pretend. Got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. I'm the run the fast break, throw me the outlet. Yeah, we got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. Time to run the fast break, throw me the outlet. We on the break, it's fast break. We on the break, it's fast break. Let's go. We on the break.